The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Beneath the Cowl podcast, Cosplay Alliance, our partners and affiliates. This episode may contain coarse language and sensitive subject matters. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Beneath the Cowl. Tonight we have cosplayers from around the world here, sharing their cosplay stories and journeys so far. So we're going to go around the room and let everyone introduce themselves, starting with Moria Wren. If I pronounced that right.
Close. Mariah Wren.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Mariah Wren. I'm a Okanagan-based cosplayer from British Columbia, Canada. It's currently 4 p.m. for me, so I'm doing great, and I'm excited to be on the podcast.
Awesome. We're just going to go around. Cosplay McLeod.
Evening, everybody, or hello, everybody. I'm Cosplay McLeod. I'm originally from Venezuela, but I'm living here in Argentina at the moment. It's 8 p.m. down here. Weather is a little cool since we are in winter, and music is going to be right nice.
Saltine.
Hi. I'm Saltine Cosplay. I am also based in Canada on the West Coast, just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia. And it is also 4 p.m. here. And it's Friday, so can't be mad about that.
And we have Hippo here. Hippo, have you had your coffee yet?
No, I haven't slept yet. Hi, I'm Hipochi. I'm a Filipino and I'm based from the Philippines.
And what time is it there?
7 a.m.
And you haven't slept all night, did you?
Huh?
Did you sleep all night?
Not really, because I had to shoot something for work. Cosplay.
Related. Okay. And we got Fred Wolf.
Yep. Hi guys, so I'm Fred from Mauritius. I'm very sleepy right now because it's 3 a.m. Saturday morning, but I'm very excited to be here and talk to you guys.
Awesome. We've got Miss Curry Chicken, Val here.
Hi everybody. Already. I'm from Trinidad. It's currently 7 p.m. here on a Friday, and I'm happy to be here.
Nice, perfect. And I'm Anthony. I'm originally from Guyana, but I live in Toronto now. So, and it's what time here? A little bit after 7? Yeah, 7:09.
So late.
Yeah. Take it away, Ugo.
So nice and convenient that time, isn't it?
I
know. I'm Ugo. I'm from the UK. So here it's just gone midnight. Not as bad as some of you. I think Fred Wolf definitely is kind of got the west of it. But yeah, really good to meet you guys.
Likewise.
I am Toonybug. I'm in Australia, and it is what time is it? It's 9:18 a.m. It's not even that early, but I'm struggling.
And I am AMH Cosplays, and I am in the United States. I am centrally located near Detroit, so it is the same time as it is in Toronto, 7:10.
Perfect. So me and AMH will be taking turns in asking the questions. I don't know if you have it in front of you, AMH. So.
Oh, I certainly do. We want to talk about how big is cosplay in your community? For example, throughout the US, cosplay is very, very big, say in New York and San Diego and Los Angeles, where the big Comic-Cons are. Not so much where I am in the Detroit area, kind of tiny. We only have maybe 4 or 5 cons in the state. But I'm interested in how cosplay is in your communities around the world. Anyone, just jump in.
Yeah, you can raise your hand if you want to answer.
Like,
yeah, go for it, Saltine.
Yeah. So in Vancouver, in the West Coast, like British Columbia, I would say like the scene isn't that big. You know, we have a few big cons. You know, where I am, where Moria is, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But besides the few main hubs here, there's really not a ton. Canada's super spread out. So basically, every province has one or two really big cons. And those cons may not be general cons, it may be specialized cons. For example, I'm a gamer. I do video game cosplays. And for me, the closest con that I would go that's catered to that is like a 14-hour drive away. Yeah, Canada's spread out. That being said, where I am in Vancouver, we're also 2 hours away from Seattle, which is a huge con hub. So that also kind of falls into what I consider like the local territory, as it were, when it comes to cons.
Nice. Who else had their hands up?
Cosplay McLeod? Toonie Bug.
Both of them. Yeah, whoever
It's
wants to go first.
Your hand up first.
Whoever wants to go first.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
So I'm in a strange situation of limbo because I'm originally from South Africa, so I don't have a very educated experience in what cosplay scene is like in Australia yet. I've only been here for about 7 or 8 months. I've only attended one convention so far, so I can tell you what my experiences with the South African cosplay scene, and I can tell you that it's very, very experienced, very high level, very high standard of cosplay. And because there aren't a lot of cons in South Africa, I think there's only about 3 in the entire year. So people go all out. At Comic-Con Africa in 2022, we actually had more people on the one day of Saturday than San Diego Comic-Con the entire week.
Wow.
People really turn out for it. It's very intense. Competition is very intense, very high, and the standard is very, very high.
Awesome. Cosplay McLeod?
Well, here in Argentina, cosplay is like something completely different because people take it seriously, even the amateurs. There are big cons like Comic-Con. Argentina Comic-Con is held twice in Buenos Aires. They have another big con like in other cities, not as big as Comic-Con, but similar too. And also, the rest of the year there are many other events cosplay related all over the city. So I would say it's kind of big.
Sorry, MH. Yeah, I had to mute you. I don't know. There's some kind of like thing coming from your mic.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if anyone hears it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hearing it.
Me?
Someone like
What? Where?
No, not you. Not you. Yeah.
no, that would be me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a.
Tech support's coming.
Okay, so I'll jump into the next question now. Anybody else wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Diego.
in the UK, cosplay is big. It's pretty massive. I would say proportionally to the US in terms of the my goodness me, proportional to the US in terms of their size. In England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, there are lots of Comic-Cons, and they seem to be increasing, including for local cons. Like I'm talking towns, not just in counties. The bigger one tends to be MCM London Comic Con. There are 2 of those a year, but there are that spread that's organized by Repop. Some people do New York Comic Con and a few others, and Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, which I love going to as well. But yeah, so it is big there. Lots of competitions as well. People take part in all sorts of European competitions. I'm sure Fred Wolf has done some of those as well. So yeah, it's pretty big in London, in the UK. Sorry.
Nice. Anyone else? Yeah, Fred?
I'll answer.
Yeah, so here, Mauritius, cosplay, I would say it's as big as it is for you guys, but it's something that has been growing for the past years. I remember when I started like 10 years ago, it was very small. We only had like one small event per year, but it was gathering like 100 or 200 people at most. But now we're reaching like 1,000 something like that. And we have like 2 big events. But we're also reaching out to other countries in the Indian Ocean, and we also have like this big event called Geekali that happens in Reunion Island, where we have the Indian Ocean Cosplay Championship. So it's something that's definitely growing. And I'm also trying to create more in Mauritius itself, because I turned like Fred Wolf from just being a cosplay name to a business. And through that, I get to do workshops. I get to actually hire cosplayers for events, like specific events, like cinema events and stuff. So they get paid to cosplay. And this is like motivating more cosplayers to join in. And I need to say that we got a decent amount of very, very good cosplayers here. But yeah, not as many as you guys. So we tend to more fly over to other countries to compete and stuff, and that's how I met.
You still haven't flown over here, Fred. I'm waiting
Sorry?
on you. I said you haven't flown over
Oh,
here
yeah.
yet. I'm waiting on you.
Planning, but hey, man, prices for the tickets are expensive as hell. Like I'm on the other side of the
I have a
planet.
ton of photo shoots planned. I'm gonna show you. Hopefully you can make
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
And Val, I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, so right, so I'm from Trinidad, if anybody did hear that before. And I mean, cosplay isn't that big here. We used to have like around 6 events at one point in time, and then now there's like 3. And the community isn't that big. Like when you go to a convention, it's mostly kids. So someone like me feels out of place. As like a couple years ago, it used to have a lot of people my age at the conventions, and now everybody's adulting because cosplay isn't that big here. There's no way to keep making costumes when you don't really get anything back from it. So everybody just concentrating on their jobs and family. So I'm one of the few adults that still go. And yeah, so what I saw some people have been trying to do, including myself, everybody knows like Trinidad is the carnival hub. And so we have been trying to incorporate cosplay in carnival, like when I know there was one cosplayer that participated in individual costumes. I mean, it was an insane costume, but oh gosh, I was going to say the word normie, but they would judge the costume based on their knowledge from carnival costumes, because carnival costumes is way different to cosplay, the techniques and the materials used, so they wouldn't know the time it takes and skills that goes into the cosplay style of costuming. So it wouldn't be judged fairly. And there has been a really big event that had international cosplayers. I mean, a lot of them bring guests, but this one had like one of the prizes for first place was a scholarship to cinema makeup school in Hollywood. And
Wow.
they had judges who were carnival mask makers who don't know anything about pop culture. So they were judging characters and performances, and they know nothing about them. So it would be like, yeah, okay. So like that's one of the struggles we have here. And then when someone like me, I love the craft, so I continue to still try to make costumes, even though I wouldn't be competing. And it's just to have content to post, because I myself work a full-time job while trying to make cosplays. Like I just got home from work and jumped on the podcast, and then I have to go and craft after. So it's a struggle, and that's why a lot of people would end up falling off the radar in cosplay. Well, the adults at least. And there has been a lot of really good crafters, and it's just sad to see that they would fall off because of that. So that's why, the cosplay community in Trinidad, there would be a peak, then it will drop, then there will be a peak, and then it will drop, and that's how it goes. So that's just stuff how it is here.
I don't know if you know Panterona. She's from
Yes.
Trinidad as well. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
don't know how
that's
far
the
you
one
guys.
that she entered the carnival competition. That's they judged her unfairly.
Oh.
I thought it might have been when you were talking about it. I thought
Yeah.
it might have been her.
Yeah, it was
And she is
really
very
fun.
big
Yeah,
with
she is.
carnival and things like that.
Yeah, and most of your following here would be like that would follow your cosplays would be foreigners, and locals. They would just look at it and be like, "Oh, what's that? What's that?" I want to come to that next event, but when you tell them about it and the event is near, they don't really show that much interest. So
So that segues into my next question. I know the last time we spoke to Fred about challenges and hurdles that he went through. I know materials were up there. So what are some challenges in terms of material? Anything that has to do with cosplay that you guys might have, depending on where you live. Anybody?
Yeah, I can start. So I live in the Okanagan. It's about 4 hours from Vancouver. Getting foam and specifically barge contact cement is really difficult. It's a lot of money to like pay for it to be shipped in. If I order it and there's only one store in my entire city that sometimes has EVA foam and they don't have any contact cement that works for foam. No one here carries Impact. No one carries barge. And also our only fabric store just closed down. Fabricland is gone now. So we just don't have any fabric stores anymore. I end up thrifting most of my supplies because that's the cheapest option. And like it's really difficult to get supplies. Here, I know there's a couple stores in Vancouver that we order from, like Red Moon. But I'm actually dealing with it right now because I have a giant weapon I need to make for any Revo, but I can't get foam in time. So I'm trying to figure out like some sketchy website that might be able to get me foam in the next couple weeks. Yeah.
You got to use Amazon. I don't like it. Like I'm a Red Moon ambassador. I work with Red Moon, and I'll try to go with them whenever I can. But like when it gets tight, go to Home Depot, get your insulation foam, and then just bite the bullet and do Amazon.
And Red Moon is out of like half of their foam right now because they're my go-to.
Yeah.
I went to order from them a couple weeks ago, and they're out of stock.
Start of August, they say. But but still, point is like we don't have many suppliers.
Yeah,
I know there are a few cosplayers in Toronto that actually sell foam, so I'll reach out and see if they have, and if they're willing to ship. Yeah, so I'll let you know.
I feel so inexperienced right now because I just use camping mat from a sports goods store.
Yeah, that stuff works great. I use that as well, but I have I don't know if anyone here plays Warhammer. But there's a giant sword that's like it's about 4.5 feet long. And it's called a chain sword. It spins, it's super cool. But I need it to be in solid sheets. Not in sections, so that the blade will have enough durability to like withstand a couple days at a Comic-Con, especially with the Warhammer group that I do. There's a lot of us. We do a lot of photos. I also go to tournaments and like hang out with Warhammer people and other cosplayers and do like partnership stuff with the local Warhammer group. So it's difficult to use the floor mats when I'm doing like really massive props.
But that makes sense. A good high density, like super high density.
This stuff needs to be like someone can whack each other on the head with it and it won't break.
I think usually I just go to camping mat because it's easy to access. Because in South Africa also we don't have any kind of foam suppliers. We used to have a foam supplier. Baka Sakura used to supply Warbler and EVA foam to South Africa, but she's just recently closed down. So I think the shipping was just far too expensive. And so we just made do with what we could get our hands on. But I now have access in Australia to Lumen's workshop.
Yeah,
Which
I love Lumen.
I'm going to be ordering my first bit of foam from them. I've worked for the first time ever with actual professional cosplay foam. I bought some foam from Spotlight. It's like a craft store here in Australia, and they supply Yaya Han's line of foam. Yeah, so I've used that for the first time, and it's really fantastic. I've now realized that I've been doing it the hard way for the last 10 years.
Camping foam is good for like underlays of things, bases of weapons, things like that. But the issue with camping foam, like I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, all of us started with camping foam.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold Dremel well. It chews, the bits just chew it up. It doesn't hold heat well. But there's definitely like a place for it. And not gonna lie, I'm pretty jealous that you're by Lumens, because I'm tired of getting hit by $125 duties when I order from them.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I've been lucky.
Yeah.
I've been lucky. Even when I started out, I think. Well, when I started out, I tried the gym mat, and that did not go well. But like almost immediately, I was introduced to polyprops. They in the UK, they supply. In fact, they've begun to. When I saw them last time, they've begun to spread in the US as well. But they have such good products. They literally tailored for cosplayers. I wish everyone had access to them. The tutorials and things that I would generally read tend to be American, and so they would say, barge cement. They would use terms that generally they would use in the States, and it took some networking for me to understand that the contact cement that we get here, which I usually order through Amazon, like it works the same way and things like that. So just a bit of translation there. But yeah, I've been lucky. Polyprops has been good. Good for me.
I got to try their foam clay. It was really good.
Yeah, exactly. They're very much thinking. They have people who are very much. I mean, they have some genius builders there, and I think they give really rapid feedback. So they either construct things, whether it's different paints or things like that, specific for cosplayers, because they get that rapid feedback. So yeah, I think that works.
That's very clever.
I use Hexflex from them, and I love it. And I'm waiting on.
So good.
Red Moon, our supplier out here, just brought them on as like a collaborator. Right. So I'm waiting on my filler, and I can't wait to replace my DAP because it's just not cutting it anymore.
Hexflex is good. I was talking to them about. I saw them at Comic-Con. I think someone actually mentioned MegaCon. It's one of the rising ones here. And I saw them there, and they were demonstrating using it there, and they were explaining the difference between the different paints, because I'm a very basic bitch when it comes to painting. It's just like, oh, it's paint, it's this color. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna put this right here. Like, so they were explaining the different ways.
In regards to the same question,
here in Argentina they are quite.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go
Here
ahead.
in Argentina, they're quite talented because they can craft almost anything from EVA foam, wood, even they can make their props out of 3D printing and modeling. I have seen cosplayers crafting many props from many different materials. For example, I know a guy who is building from scratch the Ghostbusters Pro Room packs out of scrap pieces, and they look awesome.
Does anybody else? Fred, are you still dealing with that issue of materials, or has it gotten better?
Yeah. I mean, most of the time. So what I try to do now is whenever I'm flying to a country, I try to get like as many new materials and tools from there that I can and bring it here and use it. But here itself, we only have like 2 or 3 different types of foam. We don't even have like variations in the density or whatever. It's just like the basics, like foam that you use to make like shoes, the inside of shoes or stuff like that. And we barely have like 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters, and like 10 millimeters, and that's it. So yeah, we still struggle a lot, but we're trying. We're actually trying with Baka Sakura to import some new stuff. Like, for example, like got to be hairspray for wigs that you can get in South Africa before coming. We don't have it here. So she's bringing that. She's bringing warbler beads, and what else? a few more stuff. And so we're just trying to like put that on the market here and make it available to all cosplayers.
Nice. I noticed no one has mentioned the weather. I know that Hippo, and Val
Oh my god.
are in some hot countries. So does that affect your builds, painting, or anything like that?
No, not really.
Not really.
Only when it's rainy season. Rainy season, yeah.
Well, we leave that for Ugo. He's in England, so.
Here in
I was
Buenos Aires,
trying-
it's quite humid, so
Yeah, especially with certain
Sorry.
paints, I find that humidity tends to affect a lot of paints differently because I do a lot of 3D printing, so it does. So it does affect. So I don't know how the weather does affect you guys.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, yes, exactly what someone said. The UK summer right now, we're going through a good patch. The thing about the UK weather, it's not that it's always bad. It's just that it's unpredictable. So, and if you are bad like me and you do all your builds last minute, then you are praying that that last 2 days before the con, you'll get sun for the only opportunity you have to paint. So, and sometimes it doesn't turn out too well. So yeah, it is a bit of an issue. Some people are very good with timing when they're doing this. So especially if they build bit by bit or in advance, then when it's nice and summery, like they can actually do their painting and they plan it well. But it's just if you're badly organized or you don't really prioritize cosplay as much as some other things, then it will end up being last minute. Right now would be good for me to start painting things, but of course I haven't started
That's what I'm
actually
doing
building
right
things.
now because it's
Right?
dry.
It's perfect. It's really good weather right now, and I'm looking at the forecast, and I have a week to actually start building things that I should paint now. But
Yeah, I got some fun stories about weather affecting cosplays.
Always snow, cold. I can't do anything.
Oh no, us is the fires. So I live in the Okanagan, and we are part of the Osoyoos Desert. And I mean, last summer, like full mountains were burning. I was watching flames like coming towards my house because I live at the bottom of a mountain, and the mountain was on fire. And we were literally watching the flames like come towards our house, and it conveniently was the weekend that I was supposed to be guesting at one of the local Comic Cons, and it got canceled because everything got shut down. Like everything was shut down in Kelowna because the fires were so bad, and we are just hoping it doesn't get that bad this year.
It was so bad we saw it here in Toronto.
We have a heat wave coming next week. There's already like 6 fires just south of here.
Jesus.
Like we're just hoping that it's not a repeat because last year was terrifying. Like we had people flying in from like the States as guests and getting to the airport, and the airport's like, you can't fly there because they're smoked out. Like we can't have anyone going there. So that was fun.
I'm going to stop complaining about the rain.
That's why I didn't move up there. I could have gotten a job up there, and I chose not to because I'm like, every year my friends are on evac or they're like evac watch or fully evac.
Yeah, we were on evac alert for about 2 weeks with the fire, and then so the street across from us, they were evacuated. We were only on alert, but we're like watching our neighbors pack up and leave, and we're like,
it's giving West Kelowna vibes. West Kelowna energy.
I don't even live in West Kelowna. I just live in regular Kelowna. But the fire ended up jumping the lake.
Oof.
And like something like 60 homes were lost last year. It was not a fun time.
It's so funny that you guys are talking about weather because I don't know if I look distracted right now, but a lawn chair just flew past my window.
Oh my gosh.
It's so windy right now, and I'm on a second story, guys.
And I suppose that's normal.
Wait, so we get like the water kind of precipitation, you get the fire kind, and you get lawn chairs.
We also get the water and the snow.
What's happening here?
Canada's wild.
Here,
wow.
Here in Argentina, we have a wild wind.
Yeah.
Well, in Buenos Aires.
That like,
This is abnormal.
I mean,
I'm actually supposed to be at a con today, and I've actually cancelled because I don't have a ticket to go. It's Smash. It's the biggest anime con in Australia, and I don't have tickets to go. But everyone told me, no, just lobby. We all just hang out on the roof, and we just hang out. But in this wind, it's right now it's at 50 kilometers per hour. The wind.
Wow.
I'm not going on any roof with this wind.
Well, especially if you wear your wings, you're going to be flying for real.
I'm just trying to imagine the painting situation. It's just kind of like the paint is going over there. Like nothing is going to foam.
I was at a con about 12 hours away last month in June in a place called Edmonton. And there was a period of time at the con, you were there too, at the time where they were literally pulling people away from the windows because they were in tornado warning.
Yep.
And they were worried. And my friends who live out there and who work and do cosplay, doing things as simple as priming your stuff, using any sort of spray, plasti dip, whatever, spray painting, anything. It's so difficult to do because it's either too hot and humid or it's too cold, and finding that perfect window to prime your stuff is a challenge. And then on top of that, if you're going outside and priming your stuff, your shit might blow away. So the challenges don't stop.
Now we have that problem here too, because we're in Tornado Alley. Oh, can you hear me? There we go. We're in Tornado Alley. So we either have a tornado that we've had tornadoes go by us multiple times a year, and we're just like, okay, can we come out of the basement now? We have things to do. And then Anthony knows the deal. We get the snow. We're about the same weather, he and I. And when we're trying to build something in the winter, it's like, oh, now what? Because we have to work in the garage because we'll get frostbite if we go outside. And
I usually get nothing done in the winter. Like wintertime is when I print everything, and then spring is when I start to paint and sand and do everything.
But then you have that very short spring, and then suddenly it's humidity in summer, and you can't really do anything outside because suddenly it's soup.
Yeah.
So, like here in the Philippines,
That's
though,
right.
it's kind of like different because we only have like one weather, in a sense. Oh no, sorry, two weathers, one season. I don't know if like official. It's one season, and it's a tropical country, so the heat waves come up and up until like 50 Celsius, like 50 degrees Celsius, like that. But like the issue there is like when we use leather on our costumes, like even though we store them perfectly, or like even tiny bit of a leather in a part of the costumes, they easily break. They easily peel off because it's really hot in here. And the other problem is like if it's not hot, it's raining, and if it's raining, it's flooding.
Wow. We have a lot of weather issues in here.
Yeah.
Just another challenge for cosplayers.
Honestly, I'm recording all of this, and I'm using this as evidence whenever they complain about British weather. Oh, the weather sucks. You can't do anything. I was like, are you serious? Like, have you seen people who live through launches being thrown at them by the wind? Like, come on now. No.
I have an additional challenge to bring to the table as well as South Africans. We have power outages scheduled by our government every single day for the last 12 years, up to 12 hours of no power a day. So try and cosplay around that. We literally have to schedule when we can use power tools and glue guns and everything because we got to plan for when the power is going to be off.
I actually wondered because I know that that's the case in Nigeria. I know that they have also outages. In fact, unplanned outages. It just happens, and I wonder how. I know that they cosplay. I wonder how they deal with it.
What we do is we normally the government gives you an app that they sometimes stick to, and it shows you when your power is going to be off, and then what I would basically do is say, okay, so when the power's on, I'll do my standing and my glue gun and my dremeling and stuff like that. And then when the power's off, I'll do my priming and my painting. So it brings a whole new challenge to scheduling. It's not just a case of, oh, maybe I think I've got some spare time now. Maybe I should do some dremeling now. No, the government tells you when you are dremeling.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I thought you had it bad,
kind of
Fred.
brings some.
No, we don't have as power outages here. Thank God.
That kind of brings memories from Venezuela, because in Venezuela the capital city is always in a good position because they have power all the time, they have services most of the time. But outside the capital city is it's just like you told us, Toon. So it's difficult to cosplay back there. Can't tell you how difficult it is.
Yeah. AMH, you want to hit the next question?
Sure. Now we've talked about gaming and we've talked about Warhammer. We're curious to know what exactly are the main fandoms that are popular in your areas. Anyone? All right, Toonybug, go ahead.
I'm going to speak just lightly about Australia because I don't actually have a full scope of what it's like here. But from my very brief experience in cons here so far, anime is huge here in Australia because I think it's so close to the Asian countries like Japan, and that it's there's a huge Asian influence in Australia. So they have a con here called Smash, which is one of the biggest cons in Australia, and people fly from all over the world to come to it. And I've noticed as well when I went to Supernova that majority of the cosplays are anime. So that's definitely the most prominent and most popular fandom that's going on here in Australia.
I have a question for the whole anime thing. And this is just my observation. I want to know if it's true or not. Is it more based on like age? Because I feel like my demographic are more into the comics and the superheroes and stuff like that.
I think
And I find the younger generation is they're more into the anime stuff.
I noticed that
Yeah.
out here. The big one that has an absolute chokehold is Hoyaverse. So like Genshin, Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail. Like the average age once you work it out is probably like 18 or 19.
We
And
have
they're
so much
obsessed.
Genshin in Kelowna.
Yeah. Vancouver too.
Same in Philippines. Like it's not even a con; it's just a Genshin con at this point. Or like
They're impacting that Genshin. Yeah.
Yeah, Valorant is also big in here, and League of Legends.
League is pretty big here as well.
Anime mostly, followed by Hoya, and then League is really big.
I don't play Genshin. Demon Slayer is really big in Kelowna, I find as well. We have a lot of Demon Slayer cosplays. I've only seen the first season of Demon Slayer, and I don't cosplay from it, and I don't play Genshin. But I do a lot of Warhammer stuff in Kelowna, and we are getting a pretty decent sized fan base for that, which is really fun. Because like we wanna get more people from like all ages and all backgrounds and everything into it. So that's been growing, at least in the Okanagan, which has been pretty fun. And GameCon in Edmonton really helps to like bring in the tabletop gaming community.
Yeah.
Same with video games. I find as a video game cosplayer, tabletop cosplayer, that's the closest con that really gives video games or gaming in general. The attention that it deserves.
Right.
Cosplay Macau.
Here in Argentina, you have like if you have the podium, number one would be anime, second place would be comics, third place would be video games, and then fourth place will be everything else, like small characters, like retro, like anything you name it. That's the fourth place. And about demographics, young people are cosplaying anime characters more than others.
Vals?
Oh, hi. So I think anime is probably the biggest thing here, and comics second, and well, the biggest in the gaming community, I think Call of Duty, FIFA, and things like Street Fighter, Tekken. That's the biggest games here, and you would mostly see tournaments with that. I mean, there is a big-ish user community. Um, well, I haven't played League of Legends in years, so I don't know what the community is like locally right now. But I know there's a pretty decent Dota community. And when you go to cons, you mostly see anime cosplays. And you would probably see some gaming cosplays. Well, again, it's probably Genshin Impact. The whole convention is just full of Genshin Impact cosplays now. And well, you would see a lot of like again, the older crowd, they would have all of the comic cosplays. So you would see a lot of like Batman, Wonder Woman, Poison Ivy, Catwoman. You don't really see the younger ones cosplaying comic characters. So that's what it's like here.
Ugo, you had your hand up?
feel- Yeah, it's a really difficult question to answer because I feel like I observe it fluctuating as time goes on. A lot of the time, what has the media's attention usually will take the majority at the time. So, and I think, yes, I would say probably at a percentage, maybe anime has the edge, but I think Marvel was responsible for this. You see, there was a time when Marvel was more at its peak. There were so many Marvel cosplays and superheroes in general. In fact, even DCE, like there were just a lot of superhero cosplayers. The anime was always there. It always continued. At a con, you'll see a fair proportion of them. But since there were, first of all, when there were too much Marvel, and then a lot less as they've been trying to recoup and bring themselves back, people, and to be honest, it's happened to me mentally as well, started to think less about what was brought to them immediately in front of their face, and more about the things that they always loved. So, and for some people, that's a lot of anime. For some people, it's a lot of gaming cosplays. People started to rediscover it, or would be nostalgia cosplays from cartoons from way back and things like that. So people start to discover it. So now it's a lot more of a mix because of that. Now, probably anime has more of it. You'd find that things like League of Legends was always there, but since Arcane, that increased significantly. Yes. I know for me, I don't really play much games, right? I'm not really a gamer. I will play games that are in my fandom because I just don't find the opportunity to play that much. But Arcane came right into my radar, right? And so then I was like, oh, this is from League of Legends? Oh yeah, I want to see what else have you got? Like, show me, you know. So yeah, I think it fluctuates. And then now with the whole Deadpool, see what's happened this year. Far more X-Men cosplays have just come because of the X-Men series and Deadpool, things like that. And for some people, it's rediscovering their nostalgia. So right, so the balance will change, I reckon.
Saltine.
Yeah, go ahead, Saltine.
Yeah, if you guys actually don't mind me turning around and asking a question quickly, one thing that I've noticed here is part of the reason why anime cosplays are so popular is because they are so accessible, ready to wear.
Yes.
You have Doki Doki, Mike Costumes, all these other places where you can get these ready to wear costumes. And I mean, speaking personally, heck, like I've bought costumes, and for elaborate builds like Warhammer builds or like I do World of Warcraft builds, that's not something that you can just get. It takes so much planning, so much time. So how much of that availability do you think impacts decision making when you're planning out who you want to wear to a con?
Now, I can tell you from here in the United States, because I guest both at anime cons and comic cons, and that's how we kind of keep things separate. People who go to comic cons usually wear the comic book cons, like the Marvel, the Dark Knight, the Dynamite, the DC, also television and films. They're all in the comic cons. But if you go to an anime con wearing that, they're going to stare at you like, who the heck are you? What are you doing here? And same thing, if I wore an anime con to a comic con, they're going to be like, what is that? Who are you? But I just guested at an anime con last month, and it was, you could see everyone had bought things from Easy Cosplay and my costumes, and they're young, and I can understand because their resources are limited financially because they're teens or early college students, that they go for the ready-made, inexpensive. But I think as they get older and we want more of a challenge to build our cosplays, we will do the more elaborate things like World of Warcraft or the League of Legends. But I don't really see anyone who has been competing in cosplay or doing cosplays for a decade or so deciding that they're going to go build themselves something from, say, I Was Reborn as a Slime or whatever that one was.
Interestingly enough,
Yeah.
So I was just literally just on the point of the cross different kinds of cons. Yes, anime cons. If you're wearing a comic book kind of thing, people are probably going to ignore you or just be like, "Cool cosplay" kind of thing. But the other way over here, and the other way around, anime cosplay in comic book conventions is really common. Like there'll be so many of them, and you're right. It's the comfort. And I'm finding that as I get older, the comfort is key. They're more comfortable, more accessible, easier to put together. The amount of Jujutsu Kaisen, because they're just almost normal clothes.
You can thrift it.
Chainsaw Man.
Literally. When I decide I want to go to this con, but I don't want to make that much effort, no, Nanami's coming with me. Do I know that, freaking yoga pants, Toji's coming with me? Like, so yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
So
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I've also gone straight for Zentai suits sometimes when I couldn't be bothered to wear something complicated. I'll just a Zentai suit is just such a winner, and you can just buy it off AliExpress even, or heck, even Wish. Sometimes do really decent Zentai suits.
Yeah,
and then you got your suit. It's easy to pack. It just zip and you're done. A whole cosplay sorted. So I mean. I like to do both. I don't believe either one is cosplay or not cosplay. If you buy it or make it, it doesn't make a difference. But sometimes it's just so nice to just zip up and go and not have to worry about a big, complicated cosplay.
Right. Now, we had a question from the Smoke 007 as to who our own personal cosplay favorites are and the genres that we prefer. So if we can go around and answer that question.
Ooh, what's your favorite fandoms, or yeah, maybe top 3 fandoms, I guess. Yeah, each person.
I can start. Top one right now is Warhammer. A lot of what I'm going to be doing for the next year is Warhammer based, just because it's something I really enjoy. I'm a mostly foam based cosplayer, so I mean the designs are awesome. There's a lot of room for customization and doing my own designs, which I really like. I do I like a lot. I'm not a huge Disney fan, but I always find I end up doing Disney characters. But I'm always the villains. So that's probably another of my favorite is doing Disney villains because they're so fun to be in character, and my Mother Gothel is my favorite because I'm just confident and I got a big crazy wig and it's just so fun to do. Yeah, and then probably DC is my third. I love DC. I've got Stephanie Brown coming up for a con in October, and I just really enjoy more of the Gotham, the darker superhero vigilante vibe. So yeah, those are my top 3.
Cosplay McLeod?
Cool.
All right, I like I would say classic characters because I like to highlight in the aspect. I don't want to be one more from the crowd. I want to be someone unique. Like for example, Go Gadget, Magic Hand, or I prefer going with classic Speed Racer, for example. And
you don't know how
in
happy you
third
made me, by the
place-
way.
Oh no, the Mach 5 is under fire. Oh no. Yeah. Thank you. My third choice would be also something unique. For example, in the case of anime, I like Lupin the Third. He's not a hero; he's an anti-hero, and I believe he's the kind of guy I aimed for in life. Fortunately, I ended up being like Senigata, so
Saltine?
Yeah, for me, my absolute ride or die forever will always be World of Warcraft for the Horde. Yeah. If I could turn my camera around, it's all Blizzard in here. I'm not even ashamed that I'm a Blizzard simp. But um, besides that, Magic the Gathering's a big one for me. And then Critical Role. I'm a Critical Role cosplayer. That community is just absolutely amazing. Those are my constants. But as a gamer, you go through these phases where you're all hyped up on a game that you're playing, right, or whatever, right? So like right now I'm working on a Hades cosplay.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, World of Warcraft, Critical Role, Magic the Gathering, for sure.
Awesome. Hippochi?
I really don't know how to answer that. There's so many in my mind. But yeah, right now, okay, I'll just yeah. Um Probably Descendants of as of this moment, like the Disney Descendants. And I love it so much in a sense that it's not like Disney. It's not Disney classic focus, but like they brought like a new spice to this villain children of the villain. Yeah. And Riot Games, Valorant, and League of Legends, even the Arcane and DC. Yeah, Teen Titans had been always in my heart. So
Nice.
Fred Wolf.
Wow, tough question to answer. I'm gonna try to actually regroup different universes into my three choices. I would say like video games comes first when it comes to me, and I'm a really old school gamer, so I love RPGs like Prince of Persia, Devil May Cry, and stuff like that. So I would always try to cosplay characters from that. So that's my first choice. Second would be like comic books, Marvel, but also like DC and others like Image Comics, like I've done Spawn. Um, and third, I would say anime. Third choice. Yeah.
Nice.
What
Bounce?
anime are you into right now? What's the big one?
Oh, my all-time favorite remains Dragon Ball Z. Because like I said, I'm an old school guy. But I'm getting into Demon Slayer thanks to my girl, and I'm doing Tengen right now, so giving it a try.
Val?
Yes, well, I mean, I don't have a particular fandom that I love to cosplay, but if I would, everybody knows this about me. Like Dragon Ball is my favorite anime. Everything about me is Dragon Ball. And I've done a number of Dragon Ball cosplays, but I cosplay characters from anime, gaming, movies, and I do original characters. And I even did an Ahmad Bulma. A friend of mine designed it, and I built it. And I think that is one of my favorite things to doing original characters. And I even did like a original Night of Warcraft influence. My number one game would be World of Warcraft. Number one anime, Dragon Ball. When it comes to like movies, I like fantasy stuff. So sci-fi fantasy as well. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I cosplay stuff from all over the place. I'm all over the place. I don't really have a favorite, but I mostly do anime.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anthony?
Oh, that's a tough one for me. Well, not really a tough one. I'm very introverted. So I usually go for characters that don't really talk much. Um, yeah, like my Black Manta, mostly DC villains, kind of. Or Doctor Fate, someone who's more like in the back. Then, secondly, I would say gaming. I really, really want to do an Assassin's Creed group shoot. So I'm trying to assemble all the assassins right now for that. Fred, I want you to be there.
I would love to.
Yeah, we're currently trying to place everyone for that one. I was gonna say Marvel, but I'm not really a big Marvel fan, so I can't.
Just when I thought we could be friends.
I only did Deadpool was a character really out of my comfort zone. I'm only doing Deadpool because Ugo got to meet Ryan, and I want to meet Ryan too. Thirdly, oh man, I don't know. I don't know what my third one would be. In all honesty, I've only done DC and gaming so far. Maybe like TV shows like The Boys, but it's still superhero, right? So I'm assuming, I guess some kind of TV shows.
Okay. Ugo?
This is a really annoying question. I'm into so much. Well, the thing about me is that I tend to go for personality matches, and so if I connect to them on the personality level, I guess in a similar way, Anthony, for you is like the introverts. For me, it's mentors, tech-based mentors, and some other aspects as well. So in terms of the top one, I guess it's quite easy to figure out what my top guy I like to cosplay. I can't think of what it could be, but you know, Iron Man's my guy. Tony, well, more specifically, Tony Stark's my guy. I think I've made like 9 armors for that now since like 2018, phone-based. And the other, I guess, area is like nostalgia-based, which I've been trying to focus on in more recent years. That's why when you mentioned Inspector Gadget, Cosplay McCloud, that's been on my list for ages, and it made me so happy to see that hat. It made me so happy. I finally got through like Robin Hood from Disney's Robin Hood, the Fox version, or Ninja.
I want to do
I love that version.
Right, I will
love
say
that version of Robin Hood.
It is my favorite. Like, it was a hero growing up, right? I am building the Gizmo Duck from DuckTales. Because again, it's just one of those, like, nostalgia sort of thing. I'm hoping to get that ready for Dragon Con. People will kill me if I
out here.
But yeah, so it tends to be, so nostalgia can span Superman. Superman was the very first superhero thing I ever watched as a kid. So that has a permanent place in here, and I will always love Superman. Particularly the way it was portrayed by Christopher Reeve. That's the thing that sticks out in mind. So I love cosplaying him.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Anime is, I guess, the other side of it. Currently, the one that's living rent-free, annoyingly, is Jujutsu Kaisen. I was introduced to it just this year for the first time, and Nanami is 70% of my personality, and so I can't get enough. I've also, Bleach was my very first cosplay ever, Urahara Kisuke, another person that I relate to from Naruto and whatnot.
I remember that.
Say again?
I remember that one. Loved it.
Yeah, right. Oh, yes, yeah. You know. Oh, yeah. And dude, I love your Bleach cosplay. When I saw you in Paris, like, yeah, that was absolutely fantastic.
Mostly. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but Matrix is another big franchise of mine. I love the Matrix. It's under cosplayed, and any opportunity I get to chat with people or see people cosplaying it, or when I'm doing Neo, I love it. Also, shout out to A-Train in the chat actually saying I love cosplaying from The Boys, as if A-Train doesn't love cosplaying from The Boys. I mean, what else is he doing if he's not cosplaying from The Boys? So, yeah. Also, Saltine, magic. My first experience of magic was last year because Wizards hired me to do Aragorn for the Lord of the Rings thing. So that's the first time I even knew about the community and everything. So yeah, it's crazy big.
Love
Didn't
it.
realize. Yeah.
I'm finally doing my first build. It's been on my list for ages. I'm finally doing my first build. Maybe we'll chat after. But you mentioned Emerald City Comic Con. I'm putting together a Magic the Gathering Planeswalker group if you're interested.
What's more fun? What's more fun, Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons?
I like Magic the Gathering.
I like
Dungeons and Dragons is amazing too, though. But
I'm not into either too much to know. Like, I got to see it last year. because I was working for them, and I love, in general, I just love people's passions. Like, so hearing you guys talk up till now, it's just been like, I love seeing people passionate about the thing that they're into. So it was the same thing for Magic. I loved seeing it, and so I would try to cosplay and be in character so much to make them happy, because I love seeing the happy faces. But
let's
yeah.
chat out.
Anyway.
Let's take this offline. as
Yeah,
they say.
exactly. Let's move on.
Hey, Toonybug.
But I think that question is unfair. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Well, I think that last question was unfair because it's like asking people what's better, Star Trek or Star Wars. I mean, it's kind of the same question. You can't fall for one side or another. It's unfair, the question. Please. Live long and prosper.
How deep are your pockets is the question.
So I guess for my answer to that question is pop culture, essentially. I'm not very big into anime. I'm sorry. You guys were rattling off so many different anime names, and I was like, yeah, those are words.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you.
I just
I'm
smiled and
friends.
nod. I'm like, those are words. So I'm not very big into anime, unfortunately. I'm sorry. And I like to do pop culture. I like to basically cosplay anything that's badass because that matches my energy. But I would have to say that as far as within pop culture and comic book characters, when it comes to Marvel or DC, I have found that I have more fun cosplaying female DC characters. They're far more interesting builds, as you can see, like Hawkgirl and stuff. They're far more interesting characters as far as their costumes are concerned. And then when I do Marvel characters, I tend to gender bend them because I find the male characters in Marvel have far more elaborate, interesting cosplay costumes and stuff. So I tend to gender bend Marvel and then stay true to character DC. And right now I'm in my nostalgia era. I'm doing a lot of old school stuff. I want to do Sedusa from Powerpuff Girls.
That's so cool.
I get the funds for the boots, which is difficult. So I'm going to have to think outside the box with that one, or sell pictures of my feet. And yeah, I've got Nausicaa from Valley of the Winds tucked away in my cos plans. I really want to do that with the glider, with an actual functioning glider, like on a Segway. I think that would be amazing. And I don't know how I'll move through cons on that. So that's still in the cosplay back burner. And funnily enough, though, what I'm most recognized for is gaming characters, which is ironic because I've never played the games of the characters I've cosplayed, which I'm sure is probably going to get me a lot of hate. Please don't come at me for that. But
I've done that as well.
I do the same thing. Yeah.
I was really well known on TikTok for doing Lady Domitresque, and the thing is, though, only reason I cosplayed her was because I woke up one morning. Now, bear in mind, I'm not in the gaming community like at all. I woke up one morning to a million notifications after the trailer dropped because people were like, "Oh my God, that's you." Everyone kept tagging me saying, "Toonybug, this looks like you." So I literally went and took a bed sheet and made Lady Domitresque's dress that afternoon and dropped one video on TikTok, and everyone lost their minds. And it just became a thing that, okay, I guess I'm doing Lady Domitresque. I've never played the game, but don't tell anyone. And then evolved into making a pirate version of her, which the gaming company then took notice of and started sharing my pirate version on their websites. And now there's a skin for it, apparently. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now.
Wow.
And again, Fred convinced me to do Lilith from Diablo 4, and that's also what I'm really well known for, and I haven't played the game, so I guess I just do what people tell me.
I'm sorry,
No,
Toonie. I'm sorry, Toonie. All I heard you say was DC had better characters than Marvel.
You really choose. You didn't even choose what to hear. You literally chose words. and then stitch them together
mean,
in the ways of it.
As far as the female characters, they're more interesting to cosplay, but
Yeah.
I do hate the way they're written. Like, I insisted on doing Hawkgirl solo because she is a fridged character. She's literally designed to be killed off over and over and over again.
So wait, Fred is not making Hawkman or what?
No, he's
Huh?
not making Hawkman.
Well, somebody hates Marvel, apparently.
Like one of my favorite characters to cosplay is from Marvel. I love cosplaying Rogue because it's both Marvel, it's pop culture, she's badass, and she's retro. So X-Men now getting so popular. I'm like, finally, because years ago I cosplayed Jubilee and literally no one knew who I was.
Oh no.
You're kidding me.
No one knew who I was.
Come on.
But now with X-Men 97 taking off the way it has, I've got one storage container that's just got 7 X-Men characters. I've got 7 cosplays from the X-Men series. And I'm like, my time has come.
I love that because there've been so many different reasons why people cosplay different characters, whether it's love for a franchise, love for a personality, a love for a character, whatever, but also love for just the looks. Like people said, like, hey, you fit this look and you do it and it's crazy, like it actually works. Like there's so many different ways. And it's a shame that you felt that you had to apologize for doing these things without being all in the franchise and things like that, because it shouldn't be that way. But yeah.
No, listen, people have got mad that I don't have the size boobs that Lady Domitrescu has. People have gotten so mad about that.
Oh, good heavens.
Seriously. All they have to do is play the game. If they really want to, they can play the game.
Yeah. I did Mother Gothel for the first time because somebody told me to, and they told me I looked like her, and I was like, sure, why not? So I sewed the dress in like a day. Thank you. And now she's like one of my favorite characters just because someone was like, hey, you would fit this, and then I did it, and now it's like one of my favorite outfits I've ever made.
That is literally the reason. Go on.
Oh no, I cosplayed Arwen because so many people told me that I don't see it. But so many people back in the day, people when she came out as Arwen, people were like, "Oh my god, you look just like Liv Tyler." I don't see it, but I literally did that just to please my dad because he always used to call me Liv Tyler when I was young. So he loves Arwen. So I literally only Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. I do what people tell me.
That's really cute.
Next question. Am I on the next question or are you?
Oh, no. You're on the next question.
I think Himoshi has to leave.
Yeah, Hippo, you want to go before you fall asleep? No, we're saying, are you okay? Are you okay or you're... Because you said you had to leave, right?
Yeah. But I'm not sleeping though. I just need to run some errands. But yeah, what was the question?
Question was, okay. Are you sleepy?
Okay, I'll try to go through. We'll try to go through these questions a little fast. My next question is, what is your dream convention to go through in the world? Like, which one would you choose to go to?
Oof. All right, I'll take off that one. Supernova. I have so many friends that want me to go to Supernova, and it is on my list. I actually even got the visa to go to Australia, but then that didn't work out. But I want to go to Supernova at least sometime next year.
For me, I think like I'm not sure about this, but like, cause like my dream was like just to go to any Comic-Con because like Philippines doesn't have it. But last year I was invited to guest Comic-Con in Singapore. But yeah, so I would still say Comic-Con because like, you know, not like the other convention wherein it's like game focus, anime focus, you know, like you get to meet a lot of people that knows like more of like in the pop culture side, the movies that aren't
Yeah.
that well known. So like it's like meeting a billion fans over this one fan because they knew the cartoon or the movie. So yeah, probably San Diego Comic Con. Well, they said there is a big Comic Con there. So
I have to agree with Dragon. I don't know if anyone else. Dragon Con is probably on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Dragon
going to that
Con's-
one this year, and I'm so excited.
Dragon Con is my dream. Not because like it is an amazing con and I want to go. But I specifically have always wanted to go with my dad. Because my dad was the one who got me into cosplay when I was 12. He taught me the basics. He is still my biggest supporter. Like I have the best dad, not to brag, but
Just
he
make
is.
sure he's ready to party.
Right? So I want to make him. He wants to be the Punisher. So I'm gonna make him a cosplay, and I'm gonna take him to Dragon Con just as a thank you, because like he still comes to cons with me. He's my handler for a lot of them. He has a shirt that I made him that says "Cosplay Repairman," and he fixes people's outfits.
Aw.
He's just the greatest
Oh, wait.
supporter of me. So I want to take him to Dragon Con
Okay.
and like have us cosplay together and just have a great weekend.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
You're gonna make me cry.
Yes, I wanna cry.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Dragon Con for sure is a big one. I say I'm in my bucket list era. I'm doing all of these like cons that I want to do. BlizzCon was a bucket list con for the longest time. I
Yeah.
finally went last year, which was unreal. Best con I've ever been to. But yeah, Dragon Con, and then like, the locals like Emerald City, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it would be neat to do Games Con in Germany. I think it's in Germany.
That would be fun.
That's the one I really want to
That
do.
would-
Or like DreamHack Dallas, DreamHack Atlanta.
I
Well,
would
for me- oh, sorry.
you go.
Okay. For me, it would be BlizzCon. Like, although I'm into anime more, I think from seeing all of the cosplays that at BlizzCon is really insane. So, and because I love World of Warcraft so much, BlizzCon is my dream.
Being in the cosplay repair room at
Look at Google.
BlizzCon, because they have a whole hall dedicated to it, and just being around like all of these
I see.
idols was just seeing the type of builds that these people do just takes your breath away. Like I say, Warhammer and World of Warcraft do the biggest builds, and having the privilege to see those
Yeah.
creators is just
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Is anyone coming to Fan Expo Toronto? This
So
year?
that's on my. I'm not, but that would be one of mine. Essentially, so the default answer is always Dragon Con. This is going to be my fifth Dragon Con this year. I literally, the way I describe it to people to convince people, and by the way, yes, Dragon the Silver in the chat, Dragon Con over New York Comic Con. I love New York Comic Con. I love New York. Dragon Con is the best con on the face of the earth. And the way I describe it to people, there's a time I was in my era of just trying to visit different ones: Emerald City Comic Con, New York, Tokyo Comic Con, etc. And when I hit
Tokyo.
Tokyo Comic Con is fun. It's really fun. I need to go again. But like, people would ask, "Oh, which one's your favorite?" It's like, well, it's hard to say because I like different ones for different reasons. Emerald City is like one of the friendliest I ever go to. I love that feel. Other cons are like they're small, they're cozy. You know everyone there. MCM London, I get to see my London friends, etc., etc.
Oh, you froze.
Oh no.
Bros.
Oh, sorry. I think I froze.
I thought
Yeah.
T'Challa never freezes.
Yeah.
Please.
Nice one.
Yeah, Dragon Con answered that question. Is that it is literally the best con, but I do really want to see people in some countries that I haven't been to cons for, like Australia. I have a whole set of friends there, and I've never been. I'd love to go to Supernova. I really do need to do that. And then same with Fan Expo. It's
Can
just
you read this comment
balancing
for me,
with
Hugo?
costs
Please?
and
Can
things.
you read this comment out loud for me?
Yeah, it's because I am dragging Chris to a con the weekend of Fan Expo. Basically, we do this to each other. We said like, right, we're going to this. He's already booked me to go to LA next year. And so I have to find the money and do it. Like, you know, so yeah.
Wait, Chris is in Atlanta. Chris is in Atlanta, right?
He no, that's where he's originally from.
No, I mean
Chris,
for Dragon Con, I guess we can crash by his place.
Dragon Con is Atlanta, yeah, but he stays in the hotel like everyone else. Yeah, no, it is the best. If I had to give up every other con that I go to in order to afford it, I would do that. I tell people if I ever gave up cosplay, I would still go to Dragon Con because it's just a really fun time. Like, yeah. So yeah, even over San Diego Comic Con. In fact, the reason I started going Dragon Con was a friend of mine in the States who had been to both. I was trying to get tickets, the lottery to try and get San Diego Comic Con. They're like, you don't want to go as much as you think you do. San Diego Comic Con is really for the media. It's a lot of queuing up. Yes, you might get to see certain celebrities or something. That's your thing. You're getting a lot of queuing up and whatever. You've got to find what to do afterwards. But they said Dragon Con is the one. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll try it. And I understand now. It is designed for cosplayers. That's the main. You don't have to look for what to do at the end of con. There is no end of con. It starts on the Thursday morning and it ends on Monday evening. Like there's no beginning and time in the day. So it's crazy.
My dance card, like I'm already fully booked. Like as soon as people found out I was going to Dragon Con, they're like, "Oh, you're doing this then, and this then, and this then, and this."
There
then.
you
and
go.
Lord of the Rings rave, and I'm dressing up as trash animals on Saturday.
Right?
Like,
yeah. Every
it's
genre.
just everything.
Yeah, there are photo shoots for literally every single genre that you can think of. There is a Google spreadsheet, like where you can use it to try and plan the days to cosplays. You might bring like 2 a day, 3 a day, whatever it happens to be. Like it's crazy. Every single genre.
And
I've never watched. Yeah. Oh yes. So I'll finally be doing that this year. Yeah. I'm going to be doing a slutty black noir bunny hutch.
I'm going to be doing old Greg from the Mighty Boosh, so I'll see you there.
Outstanding. Yeah, we'll get photos.
Well, you're all invited to come to Detroit if you ever want to. We have a couple of cons. We have, November, every single weekend has a con, which is ridiculous because there's nothing the rest of the season. YomaCon in downtown Detroit is our anime con. And Motor City Comic Con, also just outside Detroit, is our Comic Con. We have one in 2 weeks called Really Cool Comic Con, and that is Michigan Summer Con. And there's smaller ones that are trying to get started that we fully support that are both anime cons. But if you ever want to come out during the fall when it's nice and cool, well, not sweltering hot, but not yet fully snowy, you're more than welcome to come out here.
What time of year is Dragon Con?
September.
August long weekend.
Last weekend in August. Last weekend in August, first weekend in September.
Is it the same weekend as Fan Expo Toronto, or is it the weekend after?
I think it's the weekend after.
Yes.
You guys,
all I know is I couldn't afford both.
In London because I want to go to what's it called?
MCM London.
Yes.
I was hoping someone would say that.
I want to go there.
You definitely should go. I've noticed someone in the chat who is from London mentioned a couple of things about London Comic Con. The fact is, any community that you're in, you know where all the dead bodies are, and you might be involved so much, so you're gonna have some views that may be influenced by 1 or 2 people that or have heard of whatever. But MCM London is really good. That when I inviting international friends, that's the one I say to go to. That's where they're going to have the experience that is most like New York Comic Con or like whatever it happens to be. That's where they'll get that experience. It's big. In the last couple of years, they keep having record numbers, which for people there, like for old guard cosplayers, it's like, oh my gosh, it's too big, it's too much. But if you're a visiting cosplayer, you're like, this is amazing. This is so great. So yeah, I've definitely advised, and we have 2 a year, one in the summer, end of May, if you can call it summer, and the other in October, last weekend in October.
All right, guys,
which is usually my birthday weekend.
Before we go on to the next question, I want to give Hippo the chance to plug her socials and stuff like that. before she goes and takes a nap.
No, I'm not taking a nap. But yeah, I had to run some errands, so I'll leave earlier than you guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm Hipochi again from the Philippines, and you can find me literally in any social media platform. Thank
Alrighty, have a
you
good
so
day.
much for
Peace.
having me.
Take care. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah.
It's great to meet you.
Sleep tight.
Bye.
Bye.
Meeting you all. Bye.
Okay, let me see what the next.
Oh, you want me to take it?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
All right. What is your dream cosplay build? Oh boy. Hey, all right. Go ahead, Maura.
Sorry. Okay, my dream cosplay build might be happening, so I'm just very excited to talk about it. Does anyone here know Battle Chasers?
Nope.
Probably not. Do you know Battle Chasers?
I've heard about it.
It's so good. It's a comic series. It came out in the 90s and it was discontinued after issue 9. And then last June, the artist just picked it back up again and
Yeah,
now
I
it's
saw that.
continuing.
Yeah.
I have loved
Ooh,
Battle Chasers
cool.
before it got picked up. My dream cosplay is with my friend Chimera. I want to do Gully and Calibretto. But if you know those characters, Gully and Calibretto are very complex, gigantic outfits.
With brow, like armor's so
Yeah.
huge.
Calibretto is a like giant war golem. It's a huge build. Gully isn't as bad, but she's got like these really big gauntlets to build, lots of accessories, kind of a complex outfit. So that is like my top dream cosplay, and we might be doing it in the next year or so.
Hey.
And I am so excited. I've been trying to convince my friend to do this with me for like years, but it's a huge commitment. So we've been putting it off, but this is like my top thing I have wanted to do for a very long time. And now I might actually get to do my dream cosplay. So
I hope I get a chance to see it.
it'll be at GameCon, probably 2026. So yeah.
All right. Cosplay McLeod?
Well, that's a tough one. I have like 4 options, but I don't have like a due date for any of them because budgetary reasons. I think like my first choice is the Phantom, this character from Lee Folk. For those of you who know him, he's a character from the golden era of comic books. He dresses all in purple and he's like cool, he's badass, he's awesome. My second option is Peter Venkman from not the Ghostbusters movies,
Oh.
but from the real Ghostbusters cartoon, that
Okay.
version. Okay. Number 3 is from the video gaming world. It's a Fox McCloud version from the
Star
Nintendo
Fox.
64 or the not the Nintendo 64 Star Fox video game, but the 3D version, the remake they did for 3D for Nintendo 3DS. It's a little more smooth, a little smoother, sorry, a little better in my opinion. That's the version I want to build. And the fourth one, same video gaming world, it will be Captain Falcon from F-Zero series.
Awesome. Cool.
I
But-
love that I'm
But as I
following
said,
you now. No, I'm just saying I love that I'm following you now because the nostalgia stuff you got coming, like yeah. Love it.
I told you I'm a classic cosplayer. But
Salty?
as I said before,
No,
Go ahead, finish
finish what you're saying, and then I'll.
no. I blame my connection for that. No, it's because of budgetary reasons. I'm not doing any of them anytime soon. But they are in the sketchbook.
Nice.
Nice. So I have a few. 2 actually have on the go. Chandra Nalar from Magic the Gathering was on my list for a very long time, and I'm going for it. Another one that I'm hoping to have done for Emerald City Comic Con that's been on my list for God knows how long is Rose from Legend of Dragoon. Old PlayStation game back in the day. It's like a kind of a dragon lady. though my absolute bucket list one, and it's funny, I was actually like just pulling up the pictures to show someone, so I'm gonna kind of throw it on the camera, people can see it. Would be Queen Ashara.
Oh.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Cindera's art. She designed this, and it's available for cosplay. So I'm incredibly intimidated, but I'm hoping to have that again, maybe 2026 GameCon or BlizzCon. But with the big builds, and I'm sure anybody who else does big builds, you kind of get that idea, and then you get intimidated, and then you pull back. And then you do something else that's like a comfort, and then you're like, okay, I'm ready to do it. And then you see something else that you'd rather do, and then you pull back. So this has been on the list for a while, just like Chandra and Rose from Legend of Dragoon. Like I'm talking like 2014, 2015, and I've been wanting to do them since. And I'm only now, 10 years later, taking the plunge.
Fred?
I want to go for like a giant, full-blown werewolf. Like glowing eyes, moving jaw, and like able to run on all fours, wagging tails and all. But I'm saving it for like a couple of years from now. I think like I still need to level up my skills before I can properly do it, because I really want to do it justice and make it as scary as possible, as realistic as possible. I don't want it to look like goofy, so I'm kind of waiting.
You should talk to I don't know if you know Tris Rex on Instagram. He does
The guy who did the Alien Queen, right?
Yeah.
Willow Creative does some really good
Willow's done.
designs.
I've seen Willow's. Yeah, I've seen Willow's werewolf. It's really cool, but that's not the type of build that I'm going for. Like, I'm really going for like the horror movie kind of werewolf. You know what I mean?
Like Bela Lugosi time.
Not Twilight.
No.
Van Helsing. Van Helsing, kind of.
Yeah, more like Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And dude, I refuse to believe that you haven't got the skills to do it already. I've seen the stuff that you do, Ran.
Yeah.
I truly think I don't. Like...
I think you should just start.
This is a lot of work. So I'm still perfectioning my skill. So we'll see. But it will definitely come, in the coming years.
Am I going to have to convince you the way you convinced me to do Lilith?
I'm convinced I can do it, but I just want to do it better. I could do it now, but I know if I do it a few years from now, after I've worked more on my skills, it's going to look even better. Like, think about you doing Lilith last year and you doing Lilith like 5 years ago.
Fair.
You got it.
Val?
I don't really have a particular dream cosplay, but I do know what like the type of cosplay I would want to build. So I have an engineering background, and I've always wanted to implement that in my cosplays. So I think if you were to like class the cosplay like mech suits, like a Hulkbuster, things like that, but with mechanical functioning parts. And I would really like to build something like that. But that's going to be pretty expensive. So that would take some time. So I guess that would be my dream cosplay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Anthony?
I'm sorry. Hugo is literally geeking out with all these answers. So please mind him. He's gonna die anytime soon.
That's even how Buster.
I don't have necessarily a dream cosplay. I have dream shoots that I want to do. But those are all lined up. Like, I prefer to do group stuff. So as I said, like the Assassin's Creed is the dream of mine because that's my favorite video game. I want to do a Mortal Kombat one, inspired by Fred's Sub-Zero. I'm hoping you can help me with mine.
I'm making a new one.
Oh, see, yeah. So I'll be coming to you for some help.
Sure, bro.
Yeah, more group cosplays. Like, honestly, my first actual build was the that I actually tried was my Black Manta. I'm surprised at how good it turned out. So I kind of like characters like that. So I'm looking to do more group stuff in that area.
All right, Hugo.
So cool.
Oh man, you guys are feeding me. You guys are feeding me from
And you are
unmental
eating.
stuff. I'm eating well. Even besides the ice cream. No, by the way, I actually just quickly Google imaged the Rose Legend of Dragoon, and that's going to look amazing. Is that one that you said you're going to try and do for Emerald City or something?
My goal, if everything works out, I'm going to compete with that in Emerald City.
Oh, I would love to see that. It looks really good. Anyway, I kind of did my dream cosplay in a way. I've been leading up to it. And I guess there were a couple that I had before I knew what cosplay was. I wanted to have an Iron Man. I wanted to have Gizmo Duck. Gizmo Duck is Iron Man for DuckTales. That's what it is. So I thought, as I was doing the Iron Mans, I thought I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to be able to do this one. So two of my favorite armors, the Bleeding Edge from the comics and the Model Prime from the comics, I kind of combined them last year, and I was able to do it. But my habit is always I build them like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something like that, because it's always last minute. And I want to do it properly, a bit like what Fred was saying. So I actually just want to improve that and add more engineering aspects to it and things like that. So that's, I guess, essentially what it would be. Gizmo Duck is another one. But actually, a little bit like Anthony, groups are now the thing. Like, putting together groups and directing fun videos is something that I really like doing. And so I have dream groups, one of which is Civil War airport scene groups.
Wow. T'Challa froze again.
It's one that appears.
Google.
I think of it. Am I still frozen?
Oh, yeah.
No, you're fine.
Oops.
You're fine. Uh-oh.
Wait, look on again.
There you are.
Oh, they're good. Okay. Yeah, we did the Civil War fight, Captain America and Bucky versus Iron Man. We recreated literally the whole fight, and it was really, really fun. And what would be even better is doing the airport scene fight, and I would love to get that group together. We recently did one that I've been wanting to do, Eternals. We had almost a full group besides two Eternals, and that was really nice. So yeah, I guess that's the kind of thing. But yeah,
Which
Iron
two
Man's my
Eternals
guy.
didn't you have?
Our sprites had transport issues on the day because she was coming all the way from Wales to London.
Oh.
So and she had issues on the day, and then unfortunately Kingo was he had to work on that day, so those are the only two we're missing. But Kingo decided to skip out from the fight anyway, so we were fine with that. He's always skipping out, but yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Iron Man is I would just want to do it better, really.
Toonie Bug?
Okay, so I've kind of also done my dream cosplays already. From the moment I discovered what cosplay was, I always wanted to do Hellboy's Angel of Death from Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. And I've always adored Guillermo del Toro's work and Doug Jones. I've loved him ever since Hocus Pocus. So I wanted to wait until I had the skill set, like Fred said, to really bring it, justice, and we'll really do it justice, rather. And, I'm now at a place where I'm revisiting old cosplays and improving on them. So I'm actually working on my Hellboy Angel of Death now and improving on it and making it travel safe so that I can actually take it to cons outside of Australia. And I'm also considering doing animatronics for the eyes so that they can blink and stuff. So things like that I couldn't do 5 years ago. I'm now revisiting old dream cosplays and reimagining them. But there are a few on my cosplay list. Funnily enough, sewing is not my strongest skill. Yet all my dream cosplays are predominantly sewing. I really want to do Dark Lily from the 1985 film Legend.
Now I'm the one geeking. Sorry, now I'm the one geeking.
I absolutely love that look, but I will only do it if somebody will do the devil with me.
Ooh, I see it. Yeah.
I think the two have to be a pair. I'm also really wanting to do. I don't know who the artist is, but this version of Loki, Lady Loki.
That's
Wow.
I really want to do this. So this is on the list. But again, it's just sewing. So I seem to be leaning more towards, even though I'm known for my armor cosplays, I seem to be leaning more towards wanting to challenge myself in sewing because it's something I'm weak at. And then of course another one that I really want to do, just because Predator has always been one of my favorite fandoms. It's always been one of my favorite franchises. So I really want to do a female Predator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, like I say, I'm in my nostalgia era, so I'm really liking visiting old cosplay or old characters from back in the day. So I'm really on good speaking terms with my inner child at the moment, and like just doing all the things that 13-year-old me would love.
I can see Fred doing this.
Yeah, right.
Is that
Let's
We do a
go.
nostalgia thing.
Amazing. Oh my goodness.
By
This
the way,
is Tim
you
Curry
mentioned
at his prime.
you
That would
mentioned
be heck of a cosplay.
Guillermo del Toro, and you reminded me of both a cosplay and a dream group that I want to do, which is Pacific Rim. And I've been slowly gathering people who have that love, and next year it's going to happen. We are going to have a Pacific Rim group.
Dragon the Silva kind of reminded me of something, and it has something to do with Willow as well. I don't know if anyone plays Destiny, but I watch
people play Destiny.
I really want to do a Destiny group cosplay. I have the files and everything for Cade, but I mean, I'm more of a, I don't know if anyone played, a bit more of a Titan, like the Halo type of character, and I would love to shoot with Willow as Sabatune.
Wow.
Oh, watch it.
Oh, and another one that I actually really want to do, that's like, I don't know if it's so 2016 or whatever, but I really want to do a gender bent version of the comedian from The Watchmen. I just recently rewatched it. And I love to hate him. He's such a, he's not even an anti-hero. He's just a dick. And I just want to cosplay him so badly. Because half the time in the movie, when I hear him open his mouth, I'm like, why am I on his side?
He plays such a good like dick too, like in like Walking Dead as well as Negan.
Yeah.
Like Jeffrey Dean Morgan's
Yeah.
perfect.
I feel like sometimes if I can't be with the person, I just cosplay him.
Very that, very that.
That's why I cosplay Homelander, because I love to hate him. So yeah. Super jerks.
I want to do Firecracker because she's the worst, but I'm like, it'd be hilarious. I want to be her.
I'm a Sylvanas cosplayer, so I get that vibe 100%. War Chief Sylvanas, the most toxic person in the World of Warcraft universe, and I would die for her.
Yeah. If you guys have seen Has Been Hotel, I want to eventually do an Adam cosplay simply because he is the worst person ever. That's like a whole thing.
I don't know. I'm doing Lilith coming up in a group, and like she's pretty awful as well.
Yeah.
I haven't watched As Been Hotel, but I'm very uncomfortable with how many children have.
Yeah, no, I'm specifically not cosplaying from it because I don't want to interact with the fan base.
It's a huge
amazing.
issue.
Fan base is a nightmare.
What is it?
Has Been Hotel. It's like it's like an 18+ animated series that takes place in hell. It's actually like a really great show, but it's attracted a really young audience, and it causes a lot of problems. And I don't know if I can speak for other communities, but like Vancouver specifically, there's a lot of discourse about 14-year-olds who want to dress up as like characters that are drug addict porn stars, and like no, like we love that you love this, but this is not for you. It's a challenge.
Same issue here.
Yeah.
And actually, in my opinion, it derails totally from the pilot. I mean, the actual series has nothing to do with the original pilot, and that's what my wife and I were like. Okay, cool. The series is awesome. Well produced,
Hotel pilot.
Where the hell is the redemption?
It's directly related to the pilot. It takes place exactly a week after the pilot episode of Has Been. It's supposed to be like exactly connected.
It just it sets things up differently. Like you could
It
tell that the
does.
first one was meant to kind of be a standalone thing, so whereas this
Yeah.
one like smooths it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's all connected. I love Busy Pop. I love Hell of a Boss. I love Has Been. I'm shameless about it.
I just wish the fandom wasn't so terrible right now because I want to cosplay from it, but I don't want to interact with like children,
the kids.
Well, if you
who are
ever need a
cosplaying
loot,
these
let me
characters.
know. I'll be a loot.
Amazing. We'll do Adam and Loot.
My next
It's funny how you
Sometimes you
talk
have to
about
wait.
fandom because that's exactly how I feel about Star Wars. Like I really want to
Yes.
cosplay
Yeah.
Star Wars characters, but I don't want to interact with the fandom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Do you watch Star Wars? Are you a Star Wars fan or no?
Dude, I have been watching Star Wars since my father VHS taped it in the 70s.
So you're good. You're good. Once they start asking
I
questions,
wasn't
you're
even
good.
born.
The fandom's super toxic though, and I think it could be its own separate podcast. But like being a female cosplaying a male-dominated fandom, it's a very like name 3 songs kind of thing.
I have so many horror stories to share.
Exactly.
I have joy in pissing off Star Wars fans when it comes to that content. I am what I describe as a casual Star Wars fan. I didn't really grow up with it. I got to know it afterwards, and I find it to be very predictable in general. And I value those which aren't. I value those which go off script from the usual Star Wars thing. And so I would talk to people about my love for what was that second movie of the last trilogy? What's it called?
Not the last.
Not the Last Jedi.
Not the.
No.
Rise of Skywalker.
The second one.
No, the second one of the last trilogy.
We have
where basically they're running out of fuel for ages, basically. I really like it. I really do. And I proclaim it to Star Wars fans loudly to watch them suffer physically.
I love to tell them how much I love Jar Jar Binks just to watch them scream.
He's a well-rounded character, and don't get me started on how he's like a secret Sith. I love
my
the
God.
whole
Oh, boy.
conspiracy theory. I live for it.
So I have a funny story. Like I actually don't have that problem here in Trinidad. So because the cosplay community and the whole pop culture community isn't that big. Before I started cosplaying, I used to get that type of reaction. Oh, you watch anime? I'm sure it's just Naruto. And from a time like now, if someone goes on my Instagram and see that I cosplay, they don't ever ask me anything again because they would be into the fandom, but they don't know anything about cosplay. They don't go to conventions. So from the time they see you on that level, they're like, oh, okay, all right, I'm not going to ask you anything. So I don't experience that at all.
That leads into my next question too, because I feel like me and Val might share a similar experience in terms of culture and cosplay. How accepting were your friends, family, communities of you when you first started doing it?
Oh boy.
Okay,
Still say half.
yeah,
Well,
go
Wait,
ahead, go ahead.
you really is doing a group therapy session now. Is what's really happening.
So I'll shoot first. My big thing was my family don't get it. Not my immediate family. My husband and my child are very, very supportive. I mean, like my parents are very like, but what is this? They don't understand. I think it's a generational thing as well. Like it's also weird because my siblings cosplay too. And their favoritism of siblings bled out into us all cosplaying as well. So they seem to be more visibly supportive of other siblings cosplaying than myself, which, is weird. And now I just find that I've learned who to talk about cosplay to and who not to within my family, like who gets it and who doesn't. My husband is not a very big cosplayer, but he's very, very supportive and he'll cosplay here and there. But it's this catch-22 because he wants me to make the costumes for him. He's not actually creative himself and he doesn't make them himself. and he wants the best costume on the day, but doesn't want to make it. So often he'll like the week before be like, "Oh, don't you want to just whip me up this costume?" I'm like, no. So yeah, he does it in support of me, but it's not a passion of his. But he's poor guy's got this stuff going on all over the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saltine?
I found I was always into this growing up. My brother and I, we both cosplay. My brother kind of dropped it. So like our parents were always super supportive. My dad's a big nerd. My mom, she's just doing her best. But like my mom helped my brother sew his Tibbers costume from like League of Legends. And they've both been super, super supportive. My friends have been really supportive as well. Over the years, I have found that it's actually gotten more difficult with like my life as I have transitioned into my career, finding that balance. Like nobody in my work knows I cosplay. I'm on the DL about it because I work in an industry that like wouldn't get it. And I find that's where the challenge is now. Not family, not friends, not the community. It's my I don't want to say real life, but you know what I mean. My career is where there's that challenge. Taking like I guested at a con recently, and like I couldn't tell them I was going to do that because they wouldn't get it. I wouldn't. There's that risk that like I wouldn't be approved for time off if I said why.
Right.
And that's for me where the challenge was.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Saltine on this. I'm the administrator of a group called Cosplay Over 40, and we have so many cosplayers who keep their cosplay accounts very secret to their real world because like one is a police officer and he cannot let them know what's going on, and another one is a firefighter, and there's just so many jobs like working at a hospice, working in the healthcare industry that they don't want people to know that they
I work in
cosplay.
sales. I'm a territory rep, and like even like I cover my tattoos. Like with my line of work, because I work in the horticulture industry, and it can be very, very traditional. Like I even we call them long sleeve visits or short sleeve visits. Like that's how it is.
Yeah.
I have to say, sorry, to jump in one more time quickly, as far as the cultural thing goes, because I didn't touch on that. In South Africa, because cosplay is not actually very well known outside of the cosplay community, I still found myself having to explain to people what cosplay is within South Africa. And it's actually, I've been met with a lot of sexism and a lot of inappropriate feedback when I tell them I cosplay. Often they'll say to me, "Oh, so you like role playing?" Or
yes,
things in mixed company. Like I'll go to my husband's work functions, and they say, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I say, "Oh, I'm a cosplayer." And they go like, "Oh, you must be fun in the sack." I'm like, "We just met." So I've been met with a lot of those kind of comments. I even went to a doctor once, and I didn't want to tell him what I did for a living. And my daughter who's so proud of me, was at the doctor with me and said, "Oh, she cosplays. She dresses up as characters from movies and stuff. And sometimes she goes to premieres." And he looked at me and said, "So what did you wear for 50 Shades of Grey?"
Oh, good gravy.
Oh my God.
In
Crazy.
front of me. I was horrified, and he totally thought it was a completely okay question to ask right before a physical. So I have also learned to now be quiet about being a cosplayer because I'm so sick of those kind of asinine comments and questions.
Yeah. Everyone knows I cosplay. I don't really keep it separate from any part of my life. I'm also lucky enough to have a job where my job is to teach cosplay, which is really nice. My family has always been really supportive. Like my sister does photos for me, and my dad is super supportive. My mom helped me set up like a cosplay studio in the basement. My brother even used to cosplay with me when he was a kid. But like going to cons, I've noticed is like I started when I was 12. So I'm 20 now. I've been doing cosplay for 8 years. And I've noticed like in the past couple of years going to cons as I'm getting more like into like more risque outfits. And even not like ones that show a lot, but just like ones that I really enjoy. That just happen to be a little bit more showy, which I mean, when you live in a desert, you want to not be wearing a full armor suit for any summer cons. But I've noticed there's very much been like an influx in like inappropriate comments toward me in person. Especially like when I'm guesting or like doing photo shoots. At Fan Expo last February, my friend was doing 2B and she had a guy come up to her and be like, I have a hentai figurine of 2B in that outfit. You look good like that. And she's like, okay, you need to leave.
I feel like I might know the guy. And I hate that I'm saying that.
Yeah. Sorry, give me 1 sec, you guys.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Val, you can speak for me too.
Okay. Well, in the Caribbean, you would see people in costume for Carnival or Halloween. And if it's not any of those, people would see you in costume. Oh, is it Halloween? Where you in? You know? And if you were to like go into the con, if you are in costume and you stop at a traffic light, everybody pulls out their phone and start recording you. I mean, well, when I first started, my parents didn't understand it either. Like, and I have some aunts that they are seamstresses and they are really good, and they did not understand the cosplayer style of sewing compared to a traditional style of sewing. And I mean, she combined both styles and she used to sew costumes for me really fast when I just started, like the fabric ones. And she would always ask, where are you going with this? Like, wait, you all understand what I'm saying? I know I was talking in slang.
So sorry to just interject. I have to go because I'm renting the studio and the place that like the library is closing. So it was lovely.
Okay, where can everyone find you?
Oh yeah, Mariah Wren is my name. It's spelled like it is on the screen. It's the exact same for Instagram, TikTok, like all platforms. It's just Mariah Wren. If you want to see my Warhammer stuff, it's mostly on my Patreon right now. So subscribe to that. Yeah, thank you guys for this. This was like so much fun. It was so nice to meet you all.
Have a good night.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you guys.
Bye.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, I will try to not speak so much in slang, but my aunt would be like, "Where are you going in this?" And they didn't understand it at first, and then eventually, when I started making stuff myself, and our country being a carnival country where people do make costumes and try to be creative, you know, with their costumes, they saw that, oh, you're actually good at this, and my mom started giving me money to go and get material.
Wow.
Yeah, she started giving me money, and she'd be like, oh, you need this, and they never like came to a con with me, but they would always see me leaving the house like that, and my aunt would always ask me to send pictures. Eventually, I got my cousins to come. My brother started coming with me to the conventions, and they don't feel. I don't think it's weird to them now, like seeing me in costume. But still, the general public, if they see you in cosplay, it's only the younger generation will understand. The older ones just pull out their phone and start recording you, or start making some kind of comment, or they find you too big. Well, sorry, slang again. They
Too
find
old.
you too old for this.
Yeah.
They find you too old. Like, isn't that for kids? Like, yeah, that's for kids, right? Yeah, they all just assume anime is for kids, games are for kids. why you streaming game? Like, are you getting anything out of that? There, that's the Caribbean way.
Well, luckily for you, when I lived there, I never had we never had Halloween, so I don't know if we have Halloween now.
I don't know for Guyana, but Halloween is big in Trinidad now. It's so big, like it goes on for like half of the month, everywhere, every club, every bar, well, you know, Trinidad is a limon country. Well, hanging out, is that what
you gotta bring
yeah, we say lime, we lime, right? So yeah, Trinidad is a party country, so you know, all the bars, all the clubs, and then now they have competitions. So, you know, I am going in cosplay, right? But I wouldn't go in a cosplay that, you know, people would destroy it because, you know, it gets crowded, right? So, yeah, Trinidad Halloween is pretty big. We even have one where it's a street festival. So it's like an entire strip where there's a number of bars and clubs. And all of them participate in the Halloween celebration. And
I need to go to Trinidad.
Yeah, when you purchase a ticket for that, you could go to any of the bars or clubs or whatever, and people just lying on the street, hanging out on the street.
I need to go.
Yeah, and it's just one big party. You know?
Yeah, you gotta go to Carnival. Yeah, you gotta go Carnival.
Yeah, Trinidad.
My birthday's on Halloween. You don't understand how frustrating it is living in countries that
Wait. When are your birthdays?
31st of October.
Same.
Literally. Whoa.
And
Same.
yours? Same. Mine's 29.
Same.
29.
29, yeah.
Hey.
Okay, so I think we should all go to Trinidad for Halloween.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. The way you're describing it, right? Half of the month is basic. Dragon Con is that, but just for 5 days, basically. That's basically, and in a bit, as in, it goes beyond the hotel walls. There are like 5 hotels that this whole thing, and it goes into the street. There's a parade.
The parade.
Televised. Yeah, on Saturday there's a parade. It's televised in Atlanta and stuff. One of the
And the
people
cars.
Chris, the cars, yeah. So when I say parade, like think Olympics parade, but like instead you've got say a Batmobile and you got like people in the Batmobile like waving and their Batman cosplays and whatever, Ghostbusters, you know, Ecto One, like one thing, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, that like just, and then people walking, all sorts of different franchises. Anyway,
Okay, I gotta seriously consider selling pictures of my feet now.
It might be necessary, but just to say, Tunibug, you might find a good audience to sell.
I'm just saying, you know, people see my feet for free all summer. I might as well make a profit.
Well, for Carnival though, you celebrate that for like 2 months. Actually, even from now, Carnival is next year, like probably February. Yeah. So
Wow.
Right now it's band launch season. All of the Carnival bands have fets for their band launch, and so Carnival starting from now. Music is producing from now, and they will start dropping at the end of December. It will still have fets. Honestly, always every month has fets. You know,
you gotta explain what a fet is. You gotta explain what a fet is.
If right, so a fet is basically is what a music festival looks like, but the dancing it's not a EDM. We call it wine and jam, you know.
I don't get it. Explain more. I need you to explain the dancing. I'm unsure about what you're trying to describe. If you could elaborate, like Vision, if you could, I request elaboration.
I guess, and you all would probably call it twerking, but we call it whining. You know, we call it whining.
Whining.
Yeah,
I mean,
whining.
I'm unsure. Could you demonstrate?
No.
All right, I'll stop there.
Yeah. So, and by the way, so there's one of the biggest all-inclusive parties slash fetes is Soca Brainwash. I'm advertising for them apparently. So they actually have themes for their fete every year. And I went to one, this was the last one before COVID, and it was an Asian theme. There were people in Naruto cosplays, and Itachi cosplays, and I'm here like, I love it. Yeah. So people, I know. Well, I went to one that was like what should you call it? A water. Well, it's a fete again, but it was a water fete. But they have like these water trucks, and they will be like spraying it in the air, because people will be like, it's paint. You are
Yeah, they throw paint in.
Yeah, they throw paint
Yeah.
on you and whatever, and then they like coming down to the end of the party, they would be spraying water. So, everybody cleaning up. And I went in Sub-Zero for that party, and nobody looks at you anyhow because it's carnival, and now pop culture has become, a bit popular now. So if you cosplay, I guess, normie characters, like well-known ones like Sub-Zero, and I think by now everybody knows like Goku and Kenshin, Pokemon stuff, things like that. They wouldn't really look at you anyhow when they see you at a fete. Everybody would actually want pictures with you. Outside that,
Hold on, guys. I saw Toonie look outside just now. Did another lawn chair go flying by?
No, a cockatoo hit the window.
Oh,
Australia's wild, man.
I'm telling you, like,
Just so
both
casual
makes me
about
want to
it.
visit, but also scares me all at the same time. Like, both.
Everything is trying to kill you. Everything is trying to kill you. But like the poor cockatoo outside was fighting for its life, and the wind just yeeted it against my window.
I'm a scientist, so like I just want to go, and I don't know. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
Listen, I've kind of got a South African attitude towards the spiders in my house. Everyone here is like, no, just leave them be. They're fine. I'm like, no, if you're in my house, it's fair game.
They're friends.
How big are the spiders
I
there?
agree with that.
How big are the spiders there?
So the biggest one I've had in my house is the size of my hand.
Wow.
Cute.
Oh.
Nope.
We got the little baby ones here, and I freak out.
No. But the thing is, the big ones, they're called huntsmen, and they're actually harmless. They call them puppies here because they actually eat all of the nasty spiders you don't want in your house. But I didn't know this at the time. I feel really bad because I cut it in half with a sword.
Oh.
I feel like you're okay. I'm not judging you for that at all.
Yeah.
It was heading for my bedroom, and I was like, I can't have this in my room. There's no ways I'm sleeping if this thing's in my room. So my daughter handed me a sword, and I proper just cut it in half. And then
Yeah, I'm right.
I have seen videos of them like literally like catching like mice. Like
Oh my word.
Yeah.
like it's insane.
Yeah. I went to a
No.
park recently. Sorry, this is off the topic of cosplay, but I went to a park with a friend of mine recently in Sydney, in Darling Harbour. It's like the most famous park there in Sydney. And you couldn't take 2 steps without seeing a golden orb weaver. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen an orb weaver spider.
Hold on. How do you?
But they're the
I'm scared.
they're the nastiest looking spiders you've ever seen in your life.
How do you spell the golden what?
Golden orb spider, and they are the nastiest
It's
looking thing.
beautiful. Oh
I'm
my
not adding it to my search history because otherwise the algorithm is
No.
My
how big
algorithm's
that's
so
all I
messed
see.
up already. So
Yeah, I was like a twitchy, nervous chihuahua at the park because I kept feeling something and looking, and my friend was like, "Are you having a good time?" I'm like, "No." Yeah, that's
It's
it.
the kind of
guys, insect
it's the kind of
house.
size.
Follow that guy.
Okay, that's not so
Follow him.
scary. That is not so scary.
I can't see how big it
until
is
it's
in
like
relativity.
right by
Let
your
me see.
face, then it's pretty
The
damn
guy has
scary.
it on his
Yeah.
face. That's insect house.
Oh,
Yo.
okay, that's
So cool. Love that
Nope.
guy.
Poor Hugo.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. The thing is, I mean, when it's the kind of size where you're not going to turn into Spider-Man, you're actually going to turn into Man Spider, then I'm done. That's where it's game over.
No,
I have no
You're
interest
literally
in
gonna
growing
turn-
more arms. Sorry?
you're literally going to turn into spider food.
Yeah. Radioactive one, it turns to man spider. You literally grow the other arms and that's it. That's
Well,
not
funnily enough,
No.
since I moved here, the funny thing is I actually got bitten by a spider within the first month of moving here and had to go to hospital. And I was put on broad spectrum antibiotics and everything. And like it was on my armpit, so I had to like walk around like this while the flesh was just literally rotting. Like the skin was literally just falling off my arm.
Oh,
And
Oh,
people who live here were like, that's really weird because I've been here my whole life and never been bitten by a spider. You were here a month and you got bitten. I'm like,
can you jump high now?
I was in the hospital going,
Yeah. Go. Shazam. Yeah. To be honest, you're not advertising visiting very well because what you're telling me is that it targets visitors.
So,
no, actually,
It's always like that.
What Australians have told me is that Australia is kind to its tourists, but hard on its own people. So apparently, I am one of the people now.
Acceptance.
Yes.
you just need one of those
Makes
extra
sense.
buff kangaroos, Hugo.
One of those what?
A boxing kangaroo.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'm pretty sure those kangaroos are benching far more than me. No, thank you.
Well, I have a question for
back to-
Cosplay McLeod because
Go for it.
he is from Venezuela and my mother is from Peru, and
Yep.
I know exactly what my mother thinks about cosplay. So I'm wondering how your community accepts it.
Oh, the stories I have to tell. Okay, I started cosplay. Let me be straight. I started cosplaying about 8 years ago when I was 32. Yeah, I'm now 40. So you gotta get me the contact to that group. I remember making my first cosplay. My mom was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, well, I want to dress up as this character, Inspector Clouseau. You must know him, Mommy. He's from your time. Inspector Clouseau. Ah, yeah, the one from the Pink Panther. Yes. I also let my mustache grow and everything. And when I try the raincoat on and I put the hat on, I was like, and little girls are running everywhere. My mom is like, that condescending look. She's like, have fun, my son. But I know, deep down, she was like, what have I done? What kind of freak have I brought into this world?
Exactly.
She's like, yeah, good. It's fun to pretend.
See, my parents were just like, well, at
Yeah.
least you're not out doing drugs. And I'm like, well, you've never been to a con. I shouldn't be saying that. But like,
Oh, wait.
like, at least you're not partying. Oh,
Well,
you're
if
doing
we don't-
nerd
if
stuff.
we
At
don't
least you're not partying.
Well, if we talk about drugs or if we talk about
Sorry, I'm seeing
investing
Val.
in
Sorry.
things you shouldn't.
Sorry, I'm seeing Val, and I'm already seeing the story from her reaction about FET.
Because
and
it's
what happened to
and we party.
Yeah, I could see.
Our after parties are strictly 18 and over. And I mean, it's like a carnival fete. We play soccer, we play dancehall. Yeah.
Wow.
And then you would hear some Naruto.
But wait,
The Canadian cons here, like,
Well-
are. I mean, as anybody who's been to the American cons, you don't party at the Canadian cons like you do at the American cons. You go to you dress up, you walk the con until you're ready to stop walking the con. You might do a meetup and then you go home. There's no after. There's no Pulse Bar. There's no Atlanta Hilton. There's no parties. So that is pretty accurate. Like when you go to a con here, you dress up and then you go home and then that's it.
Oh, wow.
Hugo, I sent you a video on Instagram.
You do? Just now?
Yeah.
oh
Yeah,
my.
there's a part of me that like wants to party, and then I've realized my age because I just recently did Supernova, and in the evening I got back to my hotel, I had a shower, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going anywhere tonight. I'm getting room service, and I'm putting my feet up.
Mm-hmm.
I swear,
Yeah.
Trinities are not alcoholics. That's just how it is. Because in the hotel, we also drink and hang out in each other's room.
I think the whole Caribbean is.
Yeah, we are not alcoholics. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, alcohol's like
Yeah.
water kind of to us.
Yeah.
South Africans as well.
You,
We have a tradition. So just off cosplay a little bit, but like I've got a background in martial arts. I've been teaching karate my whole life, and I'm second dan black belt. And we used to have world tournaments where we had a tradition where at the end of the world tournament, we would have a hotel party in someone's room, and it was called Ladies' Night because the moms of the kids who were competing usually hosted it, and it just
Whoa.
grew. And eventually it spread out to the rest of the countries competing, heard about South African Ladies' Night, and they would find out what hotel we're staying at, and they would crash our hotel, and eventually the entire lobby would just be swarming with all the other competitors until eventually police would stop us. So far, the nicest cops were from Japan. They joined in with the partying and even let us wear their hats and stuff. So they were a good sports. But yeah, we would, like, whether we wanted to or not, you would never know if it was your hotel room being crashed or not. So you didn't have a choice. Sometimes, like, you'd finish the tournament, go to your hotel and think, well, that's me for the night. And next thing you know, 20 people barge into your hotel room with drinks. And that's, okay, I guess I'm hosting the party. So you didn't have a choice.
Back, by the way.
Sorry?
You're bringing it back from the spider thing. You're bringing it back now. You're bringing us back. Now
Okay,
I feel
good,
like
good.
I'd love to visit again. Yeah.
Well, anyway, my answer doesn't end there because I brought my now wife along, and my father-in-law is so conservative. He's this kind of guys who he prefers if he's spoken about social things because he's important and all that. When he learned I was cosplaying, obviously his first reaction was like, "You're not marrying my daughter, are you?" And I was like, "Of course I am." And when he learned my wife started cosplaying with me, he was like, "Honey, you're my daughter and I love you, but consider yourself disowned."
No.
It's a joke.
Wow.
No, obviously it's a joke.
Oh,
It was a joke, but he like the first few years he was like ashamed of us, obviously. And anytime we would say we're going to a con or we're cosplaying, he was like, "I don't know you. I don't know what you're talking about, and I prefer not knowing."
No, that's exactly the way my mother is. I mean, given my birthday, we had Halloween birthday parties all through my childhood. But when I made the jump from Halloween to cosplaying, well, she didn't understand. And now that I'm older, she still doesn't understand. And it's just like Wall Street business mentality, but from Peru, very conservative. And she doesn't understand why her daughter and her grandchildren dress up. Isn't that playing? And well, yes, it is. But for her, it's something that, she also doesn't understand video games. She thinks that should be, when you're a little kid. I don't have the heart to tell her one of my sons wants to be a game designer. There's just no understanding or acceptance there. But everyone else,
and we brought our daughter. Yeah, and when we brought our daughter into cosplaying, my in-laws were like, "Are you sick?"
somehow I didn't have an issue with my parents. They saw that I was doing something that was making me happy, so they were very supportive from the get-go. Complaining about the mess I was making all the time because I was still living at their place back then. But they were very supporting. My friends as well were very supportive of what I was doing. It's just like the neighbors, because cosplay was so small 10 years ago, they didn't know what it was, so they just thought I was crazy. And ironically, the same people who thought I was crazy and were laughing at me back then, now they come to me whenever they see me and they're like, "Oh, I've seen you work with Ubisoft, you work with like Warner Bros. Oh, I've seen you on TV, I've seen you in the newspapers, congratulations." Right? I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
For your laugh 10 years ago.
It's It varies here. I think when it comes to parents and things, it very much depends on circumstances, and it is a generational thing. Some simply don't understand it, and I understand people enough to know that they will never understand it, and so the people that I choose to talk to about it, and those who I don't. I've always just kind of done my own thing. I'm kind of do this by myself, but I make a lot of connections along the way. But I still always just come as myself, and so I kind of don't care what other people are kind of saying or thinking. I've always been a nerd, and there was a certain point at which
Which you froze.
He
We
froze
lost
again.
him again.
that I was into. I froze again, didn't I?
Ugo.
They're freezing, brother.
Ugo.
I never freeze.
Ugo, you still stealing your neighbor's Wi-Fi?
He's like this. He's still like this.
Oh, and he's gone
Screen
again.
capture, quick.
Oh dear. Oh, he's back.
No, I can't hear you.
Now we can't hear you.
Is he there?
Oh, it will come eventually.
Yeah, there you go.
There you are. There
There
you
you
are.
Okay,
Yeah, there we
just
go.
talk very
Yeah,
fast.
Yeah. So yeah, but in the UK, in terms of like people see you on the street and things like that, Halloween is one of those things. If it's near Halloween, no one's going to bat an eyelid because they just assume that it's that. Otherwise, I keep it very simple. We had the Eternal shoot last weekend. People who were asking what was going on, I just say, we are models and we're doing a modeling shoot.
Mm-hmm.
They understand what that is.
Like
So then that's it. And so I just use it
I'll try
because
that
I'm
next
organizing these people, right? And I don't have time to sit there and say, so let me explain to you the gospel of cosplay. I don't have time for that. So I'm just like, oh, we're doing a modeling shoot. It's like, oh, great. So yeah. Let's continue like that.
Exactly. You're paying for
That's
that,
like-
and you don't have time to waste.
I'm gonna
on
steal that
explaining
from
it.
you, bro.
Yeah, it depends. At work, everyone knows what I do, but that the reason because of that is doing the whole premiere stuff kind of got more sort of public, and sometimes I'll need to take a half day of work or something like that. I also told my boss is a nerd, and so he loves like talking about what I do. He'll literally introduce me to another manager across the seas and be like, oh, this is Ugo. He's a director of engineering. And you know, he dresses up as like Iron Man and this one and that one. I'm just like,
Amazing. Wonderful,
But-
though.
yeah, the because of the way that he's putting it across, he's saying it because he's actually excited about it. They have no choice, including the more mature people, like generations, have no choice but just be like, oh, no, that's great. But yeah, he's smart enough to see the good in it, and people like finding out what I'm up to and stuff like that. But I do notice that some people who don't have any association with it only really appreciate the big media stuff, premieres and things like that, not the fact that, oh no, I'm actually going this weekend for the fun of it and to socialize with other nerds and
People are
things like that. So,
superficial that way, unfortunately.
yeah.
Yep.
On the party thing, I noticed that Dragons mentioned a couple of things about the UK party things. It's mixed. So some cons will have like an after party. Perhaps the bigger ones will. Others not so much. There will be more localized, and people will find each other and go to like a bar afterwards and hang out, or go to someone's hotel room and hang out with like friends. So you, for those ones, you kind of have to know people. For the ones that have after parties, people can get to know others. And I keep going back to the Dragon Con thing because that's always the best experience I've had. There's always something to do. So there's not an after con. You are always in con. And so
24
if you
hours.
choose to go- 24
And
hours. If you
that's
choose to go to someone's room and chill out, then do that. If you choose to party in the lobbies, because the lobbies become party venues, then go do that. If you want to just go eat somewhere because places are open like all night, then do that. It's just whatever you want. If you want to have a nap, do that. When you wake up, there's something to do.
That's
and
such an
that's-
American thing. Like that. I mean,
I find it.
like in Vancouver, I literally like up here, nothing,
Yeah.
no after parties, nothing. Any con, the extent of it is
Mm.
maybe you hang out with your friends in a hotel or you go get drinks afterwards. Whereas I go down to Emerald City, like I'm a 2-hour drive away from Seattle, and you go down to Emerald City, you go down to Sakura, you go down to anything there, and you're spoiled for choice. Like, oh, con's over. There's 4 different after parties, and it's not hotel party in so and so's room, because there's plenty of those as well. But I'm talking sponsored events, by the con adjacent, exhibitors at the con. You have and then as soon as you hour and a half north, go to Vancouver, nothing.
Well, see, that makes me want to go to Vancouver, because you go to the cons in the United States all the time. You get oversensitized, and you're just looking for a quiet room. So something like that would be great.
You come see me in Vancouver. We can go for a nice quiet night. We'll go for tapas.
No, I kid you not. Emerald City Comic Con, the first time I went there, I tried to go to the after parties because it's like, oh, I'm new here and let's see what there is. I've been to 4, I think now, and in the recent ones, we just tried to find somewhere else to chill. We literally went to an ice cream parlor because I was there. So they 2 very nice people, a really nice couple, they took us up to an ice cream parlor, and we just chilled out there and actually avoided the parties. On the Saturday night, we might go just for a little bit, but otherwise we just
Val,
chilling out.
Val, before you ask that question, you need to understand Ugo's obsession with ice cream.
I understand it. I understand it completely. Now, people ask me my favorite food, and I say ice cream. I had an argument with my son today because he said ice cream is not a food. I said it most certainly is. I have to admit that before here, I came from an ice cream parlor.
Bless you, AMH cosplayers.
I agree with you. If you have to chew it, if it goes into your mouth, it is categorically food.
Right. So I did come straight from an ice cream parlor to this podcast. So yes, I did.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. I can still go downstairs.
So I'm enjoying dinner then, because it goes in my mouth.
You see the way Homelander consumes milk. That's me with ice cream. That's actually me with ice cream. Well, except the sauce.
No.
I take it from the top. Let me just make that clear.
I could literally go downstairs now and pick some because they work till midnight. So don't give me an idea.
Yeah. But see, the other interesting thing is I don't actually drink. So I know. So I'll go to the parties, but I don't actually drink alcohol.
The most you'll do is rum and
milkshakes.
At Dragon Con, in the party, like everyone's got their drinks at Dragon Con. I'm literally holding my tub of ice cream and I'm dancing with everyone. That's literally what happens.
Ugo, we need to get together.
Outstanding. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. People join me.
I am right. So my question is: are the after parties not good?
Which ones? Sorry.
Why would you want to avoid the after party? Because
that's loud.
It's more of a personal. Loud. It's more.
You might be just exhausted.
Yeah.
Cons take a lot out of you.
That's the thing.
Also smelly.
It's a culture difference because the thing is, we still have that struggle in Trinidad. I don't know why it's that, but I think it's because of our party culture. For carnival, you go fete after fete, party after party. You go to sometimes 2-3 parties in a day. You go to parties day after day after day. So even the introverts end up in the after parties. There would be some people that would just remain in the hotel and just hang out there, but I don't think there has been a convention without an after party for a very long time. They always have after parties. It would be either the party where they provide drinks or you bring a cooler with your own drinks. And I've been to after parties by myself. Like you just meet people there. That's just the culture. You could go and hang out by yourself, and you would meet people that's just the culture. You don't have to know anybody. You just go to the party, you're going to have a good time.
So this is the interesting thing. Because it's very much an expectation thing. You see, in general, I would in general avoid parties mainly because a lot of my motivation is I really love chatting nerdy with my friends after con. And so and that's the time that we get to do it. Maybe after con, I need to eat. I usually haven't eaten all through the day, and so we all want to eat, and then we just talk about pop culture and stuff. Right.
You go
So
eat,
yes,
and
I
then
we would
you go to
spend
the after.
instead.
Yeah, we
Instead,
go
we would
eat quick.
spend all our nights.
Ready
Right.
to party.
Yeah, we would spend all our nights just chatting and things like that. But in certain other settings, like Dragon Con, all of a sudden a different Ugo comes out, which is
You
one
go
of my
feral.
that's why I convince people to come and say, look, you will see a different Ugo that you don't see in other con. Because in Dragon Con, one of the reasons that I will party is partly because it's really convenient. It's within the same venues, like hotels and things like that. Also, there is time to rest. There is time to chat because it's on all day. There's no time limit of con is from here to here. So you can party, you can do whatever. There's time for everything. It's 5 days straight and things like that. So there, my filter level goes down, and I enjoy myself. But like in other places, I was just like, I've been wanting to see this person in chat. But also during the day, in cons, it's usually a lot of peopling. So
Yeah.
and it's sometimes exhausting. So like
That's
at
not so
work,
bad
all
for
I'm
your
doing
runs
is
out.
peopling. Yeah, at work I'm peopling. At con I'm peopling, and or organizing or whatever it happens to be. And so then I just need my brain to go. And so that's sometimes the reason why as well. So it depends on what point of life.
Don't get me started at just the energy it takes to wear an elaborate build at a con in and of itself is exhausting
And
and
shoes.
frustrating. Like it.
I think Trinidad, they build different. You would be exhausted after a convention, and then you ready to party.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Catch me at Dragon Con time. That's when I'll bring that out. I
I'll
save
look
my
for you
energy for
there.
that.
I'll find you there.
I'm like one of these anime people who have like timed releases of their techniques, and my
Plus
jutsu would come out
ultra. Go plus
there.
ultra.
Yeah, exactly.
Fred has
So,
seen my energy levels. He knows I just need coffee and then I'm good to go. But if I don't have coffee, I'm a different animal.
Yeah, give her coffee and she'll karaoke all of like Evanescence song with you.
No coffee, just ice cream and milkshakes.
Yeah, ice cream. Literally, I'll have like 2 tubs a night, and then I'll be partying, I'll be talking, I'll be doing everything each day. But usually I've been exhausted by life, and I need this time to just chill and just chat with my friends about any nerdy stuff, and we just so it depends on where I am at the time.
No, exactly. For example, the con that I just guested at a couple of weeks ago, they asked me for my feedback, and I gave them something like 10 pages of feedback. But one of the things I suggested is for next year to consider as an alternative for the raves and the karaoke nights that they have after the con, to have maybe a kigurumi party where people just wear their kigus or their cozy pajamas, bring their blankets, and we just watch like a Studio Ghibli movie, something calm and quiet to end the evening
We
with.
literally, at the cons that I go to, the group that I go with, every con, we make a point of having a onesie night.
Oh my
And
god,
that's it.
There we go.
We do our onesies, we play board games or Magic the Gathering or Cards Against Humanity, and it's like the low-key night that we have.
Bingo.
And it's amazing.
We have those as well, but we still finish off with the after party.
Perfectly balanced, like everything should be.
So Anthony, you probably have a question you want to throw out at us.
No, I think we've ran an hour over.
We did.
Such a fun
so
conversation. It was such a fun conversation. I don't know. Anybody else want to talk about anything? I'm here.
I think
If not-
Cosplay McLeod had a question.
Who did? McLeod?
Cosplay
McLeod?
No, actually, it wasn't a question. It was like more like a comment. You know, you guys were saying, okay, we have after parties and all that. Here in Argentina, we don't have after parties because something funny about events here in Argentina, they are punctual. If they say at 9 p.m., everything ends. At 8 o'clock, they are starting to shut down everything. And
Vancouver's like
9
that
p.m.
too.
sharp, it lights up. If you're still inside, I'm sorry, you're going to spend the night here or get out of here. It's your choice.
Unless
So
Bessie
we
wins the game,
have-
right?
We had that happen.
So what we have
Literally.
here are themed parties.
We
That
don't have
surprises
after
me.
party either. Just make our own.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, that's
Vancouver
a good idea.
this year, we literally, because there was like some production delays or whatever, the con literally closed partway into the cosplay competition. Like as they were giving out awards. And they started turning off the lights in the vendor hall because it's all one hall over the loudspeakers as people are doing presentations, and they're like talking out awards and stuff. They're ushering
That's
out
ridiculous.
the crowd, telling
Oh my gosh.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
Like,
Why?
Yes.
And this is the venue.
like
Trinidad's always
Is that because they rented it for a certain amount of time though?
I don't know, because it was on the Saturday and they had the space at the Vancouver Convention Center all weekend. Like they had it Sunday too. But they're like, okay, it's 6 o'clock on Saturday. All right, like everybody out. And
Oh
people
my
were literally
goodness.
still getting their awards. So when you
The
say
Cosplay
punctual in
Alliance.
Venezuela or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Argentina,
that's
that's
competition
crazy.
right there. Yeah.
In
Uh,
Trinidad, they
That's
would say whatever time, and it's going to start late. It's definitely
I
Trini
had
time.
it at Cape Town Comic Con where I was actually just trying to get in to get my stuff, and the security was saying, "No, sorry, the venue's closed." I'm like, "I know, I'm getting my bag. Like it's at Cosplay Central," and they wouldn't let me in just to get my stuff, and I'm like, "Well, I have to leave. I'm trying to leave, and you won't let me get my stuff." So yeah, they also got really weird about it being closing time, and I'm like, I'm trying to leave, you won't let me.
Wow.
Yeah, the cons close. The con center close on time here as well. But like I say, there's usually either some official after party. I've not really enjoyed the official ones. I like the ones that we do by ourselves. So someone actually mentioned it. Dragon actually mentioned this, the Novotel thing. So we've kind of have like an unofficial party in the Novotel bar. It's not really a party, but it's just where we choose to be away from the kids who are away from their parents' houses for the first time drinking, who are in some other party. So we
That's
want
a nice way to put it. That's a nice way to put it.
I know, yeah. I've spent some time constructing this. So we'll go to the Novotel bar, and then we would hang out, and we'll be there like all night. Now the Novotel staff are aware of this now after a few years, and so the security gets tighter and tighter each time, and we find more and more ways of getting in. But yeah, we would tend to organize ourselves and just have our own fun times, and those are usually my favorite. It's kind of like I have a preference of house parties over club parties in general. Like I just it's just my style.
Yep.
But I know that Val's going to say that house parties are different.
They party on the road.
Yeah. That's the house.
Right, Val?
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually leave the cons before it end. If I'm there at the end, it's usually because I have to be at a booth. But they usually come on the speakers especially on the last day, and tell everyone thanks for coming and and it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
So
I've never experienced a convention closing it. So it's like even for the after parties, they would be like, okay, so the after party is going to end at 12, and here we are at 1 a.m. Yeah, this is the last song, right? This is the last song.
Do they have the party like? Do the parties start in the convention?
Yeah,
or
so
is it like,
there's actually one venue that almost all the conventions here use because it's a really big venue. And well, it's the location as well. A lot of people that are into conventions and whatever, they are from like the northern side of Trinidad, east-west corridor, they call it. So that venue is more convenient to patrons that are coming there. And what they would do is that they would like clear out whatever they have inside the convention. Like they would start taking down booths and whatever, and they would just have like an area like where the backstage area is, and it would have, because there's like there's a bar area set up at the venue already. So they just use that for the after party, and yeah, we have the DJ and everybody having a nice time.
That literally describes the way that DragonCon is kind of set up. So like the lobbies and everything will be used for like photo. You'll find lots of photographers and things. People are it's a bit like a convention hallway because the hotels are just that big. And then in the evening, the DJs come, and those become the actual places to dine in. So you can literally just be walking through from one hotel to the other, and you come into another party by accident. And
that's such an
cool.
American thing too, because like ECCC is like that, BlizzCon is like that. Anything that's basically in the States and it's a hotel or it's a convention center attached to a hotel, you know the party's going to be at the bar, whether it's Hilton or Pulse Bar or whatever.
Exactly. So that's the thing. It's different. It's with Emerald City Comic Con. It's like a separate thing. It's easier to not go because after the con, a lot of people end up going either to eat or go back to their homes or hotels, and then go back out to wherever the party is at some venue. That makes it really easy, especially if you have jet lag, to just be like, I'm just gonna relax here. With Dragon Con, because it's all in exactly the same venue, a bit like what Val described with theirs. It's just continuous. You go and change your clothes or drop your clothes, whatever, in the hotel room or something, but you're just there. The party's there.
Yeah, and
you can't go anywhere without walking through it.
Pre-game. You go pre-game and then you come back down.
Yeah, that's what they usually do, because a convention will usually end like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. and the after party is supposed to start at 8. And typical Trini time, it starts like 9ish. Everything always just runs late, and people in the meantime there's a bar on the same compound, so everybody would be at the bar or just chilling in the hotel. Sometimes they're doing something, and
free drinking. That's what you do.
Doing something.
All right, before we go, guys, I just want to say I appreciate everyone coming here. I was a bit nervous at first because being on a podcast with Trini, we have our differences. We fight over. We're fighting over the names of foods, and then we have someone up here is fighting us for our land. So we have
Look,
it was well.
It's the same as if you talk about. Sorry, it's about if you talk about certain foods between Venezuelans and Colombians, or mate with Uruguayans, Argentinians, and Chileans. So don't worry, we kind of know.
It's okay. Essequibles are still right.
Yerba mate.
I don't think Cosplay. When did you leave Venezuela?
I left Venezuela in 2018. I've been living here.
Okay, so you're forgiven. You don't know anything about what's going on. All right.
Oh, but ask a Colombian and a Venezuelan where arepas come from. You're gonna have a civil war just between two people.
Well, of course, because they come from Peru. Just kidding.
Here we go.
Just kidding.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. We're gonna go around and make sure everyone plugs their socials, and just for the podcast that's not gonna be on here, so you guys want to spell it out for the audio version of this podcast as well. All right, so go around. Cosplay Macau.
All right. I'm on Instagram and TikTok as Cosplay McCloud. That's CosplayMCCLOUD.
Perfect. This way.
Yeah. My name is Saltine Cosplay. I'm old, so you can't find me on TikTok, but you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. On Facebook, Saltine Space Cosplay. That's SALTINE Space Cosplay. You know how to spell that. And then on Instagram, Saltine Cosplay, all one word. Again, SALTINE Cosplay.
Fred?
Oh, it's me. Sorry. So it's Fred Wolf Cosplay on Instagram and Facebook. Not yet on TikTok. I'm sorry, Terry. I'm sorry. You've been trying to convince me for years now. It will happen someday. We'll see.
I think you should. I think you should.
Yeah.
I will, Terry. Okay, I will.
Send you weird videos at 3 a.m.
All right.
You have a lot of opportunities though from TikTok, Fred. I think it's a good platform for you.
That's true. I just don't have a
especially with the
friend right now. Sorry?
I think, especially with the kind of content you make, you would do well
Oh.
on TikTok.
Yeah, I think so too.
Literally,
All right.
I agree.
Okay, so give me like 2 months. Like the cons are done. Yeah. Give me after Comic Con Africa. Let's say 3 months. After Comic Con
Okay.
Africa, October, I get on TikTok. How about that?
Halloween debut.
No, unacceptable.
Yes. There we go. We got it. We got a deal.
That's a
Perfect.
goal.
And then we got Ugo.
Yes, so I'm Ugo and Cosplay, UGOAND Cosplay, pretty much everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Yeah, TikTok is kind of my dumping ground for videos. If I remember that I have it. But yeah, and Twitter as well, or X, whatever the frick they're calling it now.
Twitter.
But yeah. Thank you, that person. Yes. Yeah. So you can find me there. I usually prefer doing like videos and things like that. So you'll find more things on Instagram and YouTube more readily. But yeah.
Okay, and I'm a Toonybug, TOONIBUG, and I'm on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, not Twitter, and yeah, go like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff.
I am AMH Cosplays, A-M for Mary, H Cosplays with an S at the end, and you will find me living on Instagram multiple hours a day because I handle multiple accounts. But I am also on Facebook, Twitter, Threads, and YouTube, not TikTok. My children said they'd disown me if I did.
All right, I am Val Storm. I'm mostly active on Instagram. It's spelled VALXSTORM. I am on TikTok, but I'm not really active. I don't get the time to make content. I'm also a Twitch streamer. You can find me on Twitch. I mostly stream in Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Dota.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll be following you. I need someone to
help
play
but-
Call of Duty with.
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't
don't
help
have
but
the time
notice.
now, though, but I
I
try.
haven't played Call of Duty in so long. Yeah, I'm not that good either.
AMH cosplay.
That's my drunken game to play. Drink and play Call of Duty.
Well, that's
So-
not very good. You wouldn't aim properly.
I do that with
AMH
Mario
cosplays.
Kart.
Yes,
Did you say your folks are not a big fan of your cosplaying
correct.
in general?
Well,
and
my mother.
your kids will also disown you if you join TikTok. You kind of stuck in the middle there.
But my husband is my main cosplay photographer, so I have support there.
Okay, you got
There you
somewhere.
go.
You got the side. You got a partnership.
I don't think you need anything else.
Like my
Yeah,
neighbor
yeah.
saw me at a con last month, and she didn't even say hello to me because she was kind of
No way.
embarrassed. She's a
Oh,
student
wow.
of mine because I'm a martial arts instructor, and she saw me in my
Oh.
in my Sith outfit, and she's like, "I can't say hello to her. She's my instructor," and I'm like,
Oh man.
"But yeah, I find support where my whole
I feel-
town
I
kind of
feel-
knows me because I'll show up at the hardware store dressed in cosplay, or I'll be in the market as Wonder Woman, and it's like, oh, there she is again,
I like it.
Bless you.
crazy
All right,
cosplay lady."
My English students have bumped into me like once or twice in a con, and when they see me, they're like, "Oh, another freak!" Okay, what? Is that the teacher?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, everyone.
And then
I want
like-
to thank you all for coming. Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah,
no,
this was
thanks for
awesome.
having
the
us.
punchline.
If
Yeah.
everyone's gonna
Thank you.
if anyone's gonna be in the Toronto area in August, I think the end of August for Fan Expo, let me know. We'll have a booth there. So come by, say hi.
I would love to.
I'd love to go one year. It's definitely on my list. I have friends in Peterborough and Mississauga that both have a place for me.
Oh,
so-
that's not far from me.
yeah.
Peterborough's not far from me.
And you're just a 6-hour drive. I'll have to figure that out eventually.
Yeah.
You are far from me, dude. Very, very far. It'll
Well, I
have to be
mean,
a
if
very
you
deliberate trip.
didn't convince Chris to go somewhere else, he probably would have came this.
Well, because this year for the first time I'm going to Power Morphicon, which is the weekend before DragonCon. I've always wanted to go to a Power Rangers cosplay one, so like I'm doing those back to back. But one day, perhaps I'll do this one back to back, the Fan Expo.
Okay, let me know if we have a booth
One
next
day.
year. You'll be hanging out with us, right? So,
Do you ever do like the West Coast cons or the Central Canada cons, Calgary Expo, Edmonton Expo, Game Con?
if they pay for us to come, sure.
Valid.
WonderCon is amazing. WonderCon is so fun. Yeah, that was so much fun.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it. So, thank you all for coming. Fred, you can finally go to sleep. Take care.
Fred.
The sun is about to rise in like 10 minutes. Yeah.
He's not going to sleep. He's
Yeah,
not.
the
Val's
sun is
probably
rising
going-
in 10 minutes.
Val's probably going to a fete right now, so you guys go enjoy.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye,
See you guys.
guys. Take
Thank you
care.
so much for
Nice
Have a
coming.
good
meet you.
one.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Thanks for
guys.
inviting us. Bye.
If you're watching this episode on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below on what topics you would like to see us cover on future podcast episodes. Also, all episodes are available in audio format on all major podcast platforms.